students for this web workshop on behalf of Dr. H.R. Gajwani College of Education, Adipur, Kutch. Before we start the session by sir, we would like to pray for our wellness. So let us begin with the prayer. This first session is one who is Professor of Physics at Bhopal, CRT. Sir is a very famous person as a man of physics. One can find his name in the physics textbook very commonly. Apart from being national level resource person, he has linked with so many projects which are of great importance in the field of education. To name some of them, there is a project called a vocational course, low cost, no cost teaching learning resources by NCRT, and preparation of NCRT kit, similarly coding, to mention few of them. Sirs, one of the important achievement is recently he was sent by NCRT to South Korea, mainly studying their vocational education structure and courses. And with education, he also acted in NEP, one of the important segment of this policy of education. So we are very honored to have sir for today's session. We will also be having another session after this session, that is by Dr. Pawan Agrawal. So I would request all the participants to be tuned with us and get advantage of the sessions by these esteemed resource persons. Now I hand over mic to Mr. Indra Singh Chauhan, sir. Sir, you may start. Thank you.
जी थैंक यू मैडम सभी को मेरा नमस्कार फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल एस्टीम्ड प्रिंसिपल तनु शर्मा मैडम कोऑर्डिनेटर ऑफ द प्रोग्राम डॉक्टर असित पुरोहित जी मैडम प्रिया देशपांडे जी and all the dignitaries present here, the students. So I express my sincere thanks and wishes for this session. I need those things. Well, as Madam has told that I am assistant professor in physics. So my basic and the most fundamental identity is I am a teacher. That is the only identity which I carry with me. Else I am nothing. And as I teach physics, and in physics there is, in optics, there is a concept called convex lens. So you all know that what is the utility of that convex lens, what is the specialty of the convex lens. This lens, when you see any object, it looks extra large. So madam also is blessed with that convex lens in her eyes. So I'm nothing, I'm just a simple teacher. As the session which I am supposed to address, so what are the things which I am going to cover? So as we have seen that the new education policy has been introduced, and we are waiting for its implementation. And there are certain sectors where there is a strong focus, and we have seen certain paradigm shift from the previous earlier policies which we are witnessing right now. So you can see in the television also, in the advertisements there are ads like there are companies which claim to teach students coding, and in turn the student has to pay some price, and the price is not nominal, it is a good amount. So in a country like India, what I feel is that there are a lot of divisions. There are social divisions, there are economic divisions, and what I feel is that the root cause of all these divisions, that is the educational divide. If there is no educational divides, then I think that there will not be any type of divisions in the society. So, as a teacher educator, it is our core responsibility to bridge this valley of the divide. Those who are blessed with technology and those who are not blessed with technology. During the time of COVID, we have witnessed that the nation is facing a lot of problems. Right now, still we are facing the problems. The situation is not railed back; it is derailed, and especially in the case of education also. And we have seen that all the institutes, all the schools, they are trying their level best to teach the students through online platforms. But the problem is that this facility, all the students are not blessed with. Of course, there are a lot of advantages in our country because if you see the internet connectivity, it is very large. Another thing in our country is that the cost of internet is the cheapest in the world. It is the cheapest. So these are the things which supports our efforts. Now, what is our work? What can we do in this regard? As I told, the educational divide. So I will try to show you certain platforms which are freely available online, and through those platforms, if we are trying to teach, uh, whether it may be the constructive theory, as my topic claims, the constructive theory through softwares and all those things, and then comes the coding. So I will try to show you that how can we learn coding, computer science. So in the 1986, when very young Prime Minister, not in 86 84, very young Prime Minister Shri Rajiv Gandhi took the office of Prime Minister of India, and he is credited for introducing, bringing computer in India. But since 1984 till now, our education system is revolving around computer literacy only. And what I think is that in this changing scenario, the world is changing very fast. The technology is evolving very fast. So in this era, now there is a requirement for the leap from computer literacy to computer science. Now we need to introduce this computer science. So whether if we take the case of education also, there are various departments. I belongs to the Department of Education, Science and Mathematics. There are a Department of Social Science, Humanities, Education and all those things. But there is no department for computer science, which is the need of the hour. And NEP also has got a very weightage for this coding, and it has introduced since the 6th class. But and there are various platforms to learn these codings. But the biggest problem is that we don't have any pedagogy. Up to my best of my knowledge, we don't have the pedagogy of teaching computer science. And there are various companies, as I just now mentioned, which have mushroomed, and they are claiming to teach the coding, but I fear their claims because um, there is a requirement of pedagogy. So through this session, I will trying to show you that how can we develop such types of pedagogy. And since I will not go much, I will just focus on my topic because I want to utilize the time as much as possible. Because in the next 2 hours, it will not be possible to cover all the things which I am going to tell, and neither it will be possible to teach as well. But the good thing is that the present generation is very quick in learning. The previous generation, it was very difficult for them to adapt with the computer, but the present generation, that is not the case. And they are already well versed in computers. They can effectively use compared to the elders. So this is a very good time to introduce these things. And I will just show you the platforms which these companies also use, and they are free of cost. So before that, let me tell you that few months back, I got a chance to be a part of a committee which was supposed to develop the aims of education. So my role was of science only. I explored those topics, that what should be the aims of the education. And then I learned, while exploring, I found that I tell the same to my students also. I teach BSc B.Ed physics, and I teach method of physical science also. And what I used to say is that here we are not going to make you physicists. We are not going to make you mathematicians. What we are going to make you is that we want to make you how to think like a mathematician. If I am teaching mathematics, and if I am teaching physics, then my role is to how to show you how to transform you to think like a physicist. If I am teaching you computer science, then my role is how to enable you to think like a computer scientist. That is the core thing, what I feel, according to me, as far as education is concerned. And this policy strongly focuses on the vocationalization of the education also, because now our country is a very aspiring nation, and vocational education is one of the flagship program of the government. And the government of India has already introduced certain initiatives, and they are right now on the ground also, like Atmanirbhar Bharat and all those things, Make in India initiative and many more. And they have already started the vocationalization of education. So what I feel is that there are two things. One is the vocational education, and other thing is the vocationalization of education. That means integrating vocational education with the general system of education. But one thing which I am missing in this policy, I was strongly expecting that it should be there, but unfortunately it is not there, and that is the concept of specialized schools. Because if we are mixing things, we are teaching the general education, and then we are introducing vocational education, then what I feel is that we are diluting. We may be diluting. I should not say that we may be diluting the general also and the vocational also. So there should be specialized schools depending upon the geography. By geography, I mean the financial geography. For example, in the state of Gujarat, there are large number of chemical industry. There are refineries. So in that state, the companies, those types of vocational education will suit. And there should be specialized schools. What we need to say about the specialized school is that after 8th class, there should be a 4-year course, and that 4-year course should rigorously focus on that particular aspect of vocation, not generic type. For example, in the state of Gujarat, there should be courses based on refineries. There should be courses based on pharmacies, chemical industries, like that. And if you see the condition of the state of Maharashtra, it is one of the most industrialized state of India. Then comes Tamil Nadu also, almost the same. So there should be a specialized course on manufacturing. So as just now you have told, Madam Priya Deshpande, Madam, that I am involved in the program of mechatronics, a vocational education and training program in mechatronics. So before 2 years, I don't know even the spelling of the mechatronics. The program was given to me, and then I explored this program from ABCD. We have started from the scratch, and after a labor of 2 years, now we are in a position to develop the curriculum of that mechatronics program. And then it is in the collaboration of the Korean Research Institute of Vocational Education and Training. And there I have observed there are specialized system of educations in various fields, and they are very successful. So without wasting much time, I think that I should come on the topic which I am supposed to say. Otherwise, the main thing would be lost. So there are two departments of the thing which I am going to tell. The first is the constructive approach, which the my title suggests, and I am going to show you that how softwares can be a very strong tool for ensuring constructivism. So you know, constructivism is not an easy task. There are two types of constructivism. One is the construction of the knowledge, and other is the construction of the meaning. As far as construction of the knowledge is concerned, it is not an easy task. It requires an ecological system. For example, just now I give you a simple example. If you want to germinate a seed in the soil of Mars, soil is there, atmosphere is there. Would you think that planting a seed in the soil of the Mars, will it germinate? Okay, you supply water also, it will not germinate, because sunlight, air, soil, these are the necessary conditions but not the sufficient. Then there comes a very big system, ecological system, ecosystem. Without ecosystem, that thing will not survive. Similarly, here also we want to have constructivism in our classroom. We want to construct the knowledge, and without the availability of proper edusphere, I am coining a new word, edusphere, like biosphere. Without this biosphere, there will not be any constructivism. So what is that edusphere? Because constructivism, as far as my knowledge is concerned, requires a lot of observations. There should be a lot of opportunities for the child to have as much as observations. And after these observations, how to shape these observations in proper concepts. So how to provide this edusphere? So there are various tools for providing edusphere, like low cost, no cost teaching material. I have developed certain things in this regard also. And then there are softwares which I am going to show. So, and there is analogy also. So I am basically focusing on this software part. So now I am starting my presentation, and I will be starting first by Algodo. This is a software free of cost. Just go to the Google, type there algodo.com. In the algodo.com, a page will open, and there will be an option for the download. You can have the download of the Algodo depending upon the system you are using, whether it is Windows. Most of us are using Windows, or it is the other type. So you can choose your type and then download that software, and then how to use that software, that I will show you. So I am starting my presentation. So I hope that my screen is visible to you. My screen is visible. Hello.
Yes.
Okay, Ji.
Yes, sir. Your screen. Yes.
Ji, thank you. So you can see there is a logo of this Algodo in this orange circle. This is A for Algodo. So we will be using this software. Let me start it. So what this software is supposed to do, that I will tell you. So you can see that here, first of all, I will start the new scene. So these are the various options for the background. Whatever option which suits you, you can choose. When you are exploring this background, you can have the idea that whatever suitable you can choose. So I am using the common by default. So this is my background, blue sky and green meadows. This is my background. And first of all, let me introduce about the various tools which it is offering. So the software is very easy to use. Most of the things are self-explanatory. When you are moving your cursor on the tools, you will get the idea what this tool is supposed to do. So this bar at the left hand side, bottom corner, this is our toolbar. So when you are moving your cursor, for example, I am moving my cursor here, and it is saying that this is a sketch tool. We can make a sketch from it. It is simply like a pen. Next tool, when I am moving my cursor, this shows a knife. So it will be used to cut. Of course, it will not cut vegetables and the birthday. It will cut the figure which will be made on the screen. And then here, this tool, this is for moving an object. Some objects which we have made and we want to move. So that will be possible by the help of this tool. Then this tool, rotate object. If you want to rotate certain things, you can rotate by using this tool. And this double-sided arrow, this will be used to scale. Means you want to increase the dimension of an object vertically or horizontally. You can do by using this tool. Then there comes an eraser. So you need to erase certain thing which you can use this tool. Very easy to use. Then this one is brush. This one is polygon. You can draw polygon by the help of this tool. And here, this is a gear. You can make gears. This is a circle. This is a square or rectangle. This is rope. Here, you can get, if you want to tie certain thing. So you will get rope from here. You can get chain from also here. From also here. And here, you can see that this ground is horizontal, and you want an inclination here. So to incline this background, this ground, you can use this tool. And here, this is a nail. This is a spring. This is an Excel. This is a laser pen. This is a tracer tool that I will show you what does it mean. So these are the basic tools which we will be using. And there are other tools also that I will show you. So first of all, let me tell you that in what sectors this software is useful. So this software is useful in the field of mechanics. This software is useful in the field of optics. This software is you may say buoyancy also. So mechanics and optics are the basic fundamental things which you can use from the help of this software. So first of all, I will tell you, most of you may not be from the physics background, and that is good thing, because now we are going to construct a knowledge. So how to construct the knowledge, I will try to show you by the help of this software. So first of all, you might have heard about the spherical lenses. In the school, we are teaching school students the spherical lenses. So let's start by a spherical lens. So first of all, what do you mean by spherical lens? That I will not tell you anything. You will make the meaning of whatever presentation I am giving. You will construct your own knowledge. Okay. So first of all, we need to make a spherical lens. So as the name itself suggests that it is a spherical lens, to start, we need a sphere. सबसे पहले हमको एक स्पीयर चाहिए रहेगा. So मैंने ये एक स्पीयर लिया. I chose a sphere. So before telling further, I would like to have kind permission from you that if in between I can switch from English to Hindi, would it be okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, because the problem is that
Yes.
I can't speak much English. After speaking English for a few minutes, my brain gets heated and fumes start coming from my ears. So, so I hope that you will cooperate in this regard. So this is our sphere, and we can see. Let me make it one more time. This is our sphere. So you can see that radius is there. Mention of the radius. You can change the radius, and here now I am having a sphere of radius 0.9 meter. Though the figure is two-dimensional, so it should be not. It is not an sphere, but it is a circle. You might treat it like an sphere. So we are having a sphere. Now I want to slice a convex lens from this sphere. So how to slice a convex lens from this sphere? So there can be many techniques, but the most simple I am adopting is that I will make a clone of this sphere. So make the clone. We can make another sphere also, no problem. But the problem is that the radius of this sphere is 0.9 meter, and why I want an exactly similar sphere of the same radius. So the good thing is that to use the clone. So how to make the clone of any object? First of all, move your cursor over the object which need to be cloned, and use the right click. On doing the right click, there will be certain options. So the option which we require is for the clone. So now we are having two identical spheres. Now we need to overlap these two spheres. So as I told you that this sphere has got a center. This sphere has got certain radius, which is 0.9 meter. Now I need to overlap these two spheres slightly. So to overlap, we need to move this sphere. And to do so, we require a drag tool or a move tool. So now I am moving these two spheres, and we can see that these two spheres are now overlapping with each other. Now what is the next task? Again do the right click. After doing the right click, the same window open, but this time we want option for combine shapes. And here in this combine shape window, there are four options: cut, intersect, subtract, and add. So other than add, you may choose any of the three I mentioned options. So I am choosing the option of cut. So I cut it. Now what happens? Just remove this sphere, remove this sphere. Now what you are having? You are having a slice of this sphere. This is nothing but the slice of this sphere. So this lens or so-called lens is formed from this sphere. So this sphere has got certain center. Similarly, this lens will have got certain center. Not this center, somewhere here, because we have what will be the optical, what will be the center of this lens? This will be the center of the lens, this point where my cursor is placed. This is the radius. So this is the radius of the sphere, and this is the radius of the curvature of the lens also. Both are the same thing. So we have seen the radius of this sphere was 0.9 meter. So the radius of curvature of this convex lens should also be 0.9 meter. Okay. So now we got the concept. I think because I cannot ask you, saving the time. So we got a lens which is sliced from a sphere, and this lens has got certain radius of curvature, which is nothing but the radius of this sphere. So we don't want these pieces. Let's eliminate them. To do so, erase. Use the option for erase. Again, move the cursor here, right click, erase. So we are having the lens. But there is a problem with this lens. The problem with the lens is that though its shape is okay, no problem with that. But the problem is that it will not transmit the light because it is not transparent. It is an opaque lens. So we need a lens made up of glass or something like that, which allows the light to pass through it. So to do so, we have to move our cursor to the lens and then use the right click. After the right click, the window again opens, and this time we have to choose the window for material. And when you are choosing this window for material, there are various options. One is by default glass, gold, helium, and all those things. So of course, you all like gold, but the lens made up of gold will not serve our purpose. Definitely, we will need a transparent material, and I think that glass is the good choice here. So I choose glass. Now, we are having a convex lens which is made up of glass. So this is a spherical lens, and why it is a spherical lens? I think all of you understood that why it is a spherical lens, and it has got certain radius of curvature. And what is the radius of curvature? That also you know. Now the lens is with us. The next thing we require is the rays. We need the ray of light, and we want to study that what the behavior of these rays when they pass through the lens. So the next task is to have rays. So how can we have the rays? In this toolbar, there is something called laser pen tool. So let's choose this tool and place it here. Left click, and what we are having? We are having a laser, and its beam, pink color beam, is falling on the lens. And what this lens is doing? This lens is deviating the beam. And where it is deviating the beam? It is deviating towards the thicker edge. This is the thicker side, and the marginal sides are the thinner sides. So this beam is being deviated towards the thicker part. So we just got an idea about the behavior of this lens. Now we want a set of rays. We want an array of rays. To do so, you can choose number of these laser pens and place it here. But there is another option also that I will show you. So better remove this laser pen. Move in this place. Just to see the position of my cursor, I choose that option. And now what we are having? We are having certain options. We are having an already built concave lens, a convex lens, laser array that we want, mirror, and a prism. So these things are already given by default, but still we made this convex lens just to show you an idea about the spherical lens. That's why we use this that option. Now we want this laser ray. Just left click, and you will have an array of laser lights. So you want to drag it at this position. So by using the drag tool, now I place my laser array towards the lens. There are certain rays which are passing beyond the lens. So let's remove those things. To do so, we have to use the option for erase. This is my eraser. You can increase the size of this eraser by the brush size. You drag it, you slide it here, the brush size will increase. And here I remove this part, and I remove this part as well. Now just observe carefully. So what you are saying, what you are seeing in your screen, these are the parallel beam of light, and these parallel rays, when they are passing through the lens, they are converging here. So the point at which these rays are converging, we know we have to give the name of this concept, and it is called focus of the lens. So we understood the property, we understood the property of the convex lens. Now, one thing unusual, if you are observing it carefully, because what I've told you is that to ensure constructivism, we require observations. There should be ample room for observations. And here in this screen, you can see, if you can observe what you are observing, the peculiarity. The peculiar case is that when we observe the similar figure in the textbook, what we found is that the rays are converging at a single point. But here, if you see, there is not a single point. There are large number of points. The convergence starts from here and ends at here. So there is no unique focal point. But in the textbook, it is mentioned that there is a focal point. But there is not a focal point. There are series of focal points. So this is only possible by the help of this beautiful platform which we are witnessing. And now from this this screen, this visual, what we can observe, if you see it carefully, you can see that there are two types of rays. These are the rays which are coming from the extreme end of the lens, or you can say that these are coming from the periphery of the lens. And then there comes the rays, the set of the rays which are close to this central axial ray. This is the axial rays. So, so these two rays which are from the extreme end of the lens, we will be calling them as marginalized. They are something like the marginalized section of the society. So these rays are also marginalized. And these rays are which are close to the axis. These rays are called the axial rays. So if you observe carefully the behavior of marginalized rays, they are focusing here. And if you see the behavior of this axial rays, they are focusing at the extreme end. So you can see that the focal length of the marginalized rays is the least, and the focal length of the axial rays is the maximum. So these things are not given in the textbook, though they are coming in the later classes. So we understood a very good property of a lens, and this thing is called aberration. This concept is called aberration. That's why when we are constructing a telescope or when we are constructing a microscope, then there are eyepieces. So the role of these eyepieces is to remove these aberrations. There will be distortion in the images, and we want a quality image. So to do so, we are supposed to remove these aberrations. Now let's try to understand the further properties of the lens. So the one thing is for sure that we understood that on what parameters this focal length depends, that we are going to study. So here, when we constructed this lens, we did two things. And what were the two things? The first was we chose a sphere. So there should be another point of observation, that what would have happened if we would have chose a sphere of larger radius or a sphere of shorter radius. What would be the behavior of the lens then? Other point of observation may be that we choose the material to be glass, and the glass has got certain refractive index. Now, if we are going to change the refractive index of this material of the lens, then what is going to happen on the focal length? So these are the only two criteria we used when we make this lens. One, that is the radius of curvature, and the other one, that is the refractive index of the lens. So first of all, let's try to change the refractive index of the glass of the lens, and then try to see that what is going to happen. To do so, we have to again move our cursor over the lens and then use the right click. On doing the right click, the same window opens, and this time again we need to go back to the material section. And in material section, we are not going to change the material. It is by default. But here, when you see in the second last slide, here there is an option for refractive index. And right now, by default, the refractive index is set to 1.50. The refractive index of glass is 1.55. So, of course, this material is made up of glass, and there are various types of glasses. Now, we can change the refractive index. And let's see that what would be the impact of the change in the refractive index on the focal length of the lens. So first of all, I will increase the refractive index. मैं पहले refractive index को बढ़ाता हूँ. I have increased the refractive index from 1.5 to 1.8, and let's see what has happened here. What is impact on the focal length? The focal length has decreased. Earlier, the lens was converged somewhere here, and where now these rays are being converged? Closer to the lens. So what we understood from this observation, that when the refractive index of the lens is increased, then what happens? What will the impact on the increase in the focal length, increase in the refractive index of the material of the lens? The focal length will decrease. That is an important observation which we draw from here. And this has led us to construct another concept. That is the dependence of the focal length on the parameter, and the parameter is the refractive index. Let's try to change the refractive index again, and this time I will reduce. I will reduce the refractive index. So I move back to the refractive index slide, and I am reducing the refractive index, and now my refractive index is 1.25. Initially it was 1.5, and you can see the rays are converging at a larger distance from the lens. So what is the impact? When you decrease the refractive index, the focal length increases, and when you increase the refractive index, the focal length decreases. So these are the two observations which we draw by changing the refractive index, and I think that you got an idea about that, how this refractive index is going to impact on the focal length. The other thing which I was telling you is to change the radius of curvature of the lens. So again, right click. After right click, now we will use the scale tool, the double-sided arrow. Now I can either make the lens thin or I can make the lens thick. So just imagine, okay, let me do. First of all, I am elongating the lens. I am stretching the lens. So my lens is being stretched. Now just try to observe that when the lens is being stretched, then what will be the impact on the radius of curvature of the lens? We can't interact in the offline manner. So I just tell you that you can easily visualize that when the lens is being stretched outward, then it means that its radius of curvature has been increased. So when the radius of curvature is increased, what is the impact on the focal length of the lens? You can see that the focal point is no more on the screen of the computer because the focal length has been increased. We need to drag it, and then we can spot where is the focus. This is the focus. So what is the impact? The impact is that when the lens is made thin, this is a thin lens now, okay? So when the lens is made thin, the focal length is increasing. When the lens is made thin, the radius of curvature is increasing. And in that case, the focal length is increasing. And another thing is that the aberration has been reduced. Earlier, you have seen there are large number of focal length. The spread was large. Still, there is not a unique focal length and unique focus. Still, there are series of focal points. But this time, it has been shrinked. It has been reduced. So the aberration has been reduced. So this is another factor which you understood that how the focal length is changing. And now let me again change the radius of curvature. Earlier, I increased the radius of curvature, and this time now I will reduce it. To do so, मैं इसको थोड़ा नीचे लेकर के आऊंगा. मैंने लेंस को ऐसा उल्टा स्ट्रेच किया. अभी आप देख सकते हैं कि मेरा जो लेंस है वो कैसा हो चुका है. Now the lens is thick. Our lens is thick now. So what is the impact of the focal length? On making the lens thick, the focal length has been reduced. So these are the two parameters on which the focal length of a convex lens depends. One, that is the refractive index, and the other, that is the radius of curvature of the lens. So I have not taught you anything. I have just expose you towards a beautiful platform, a simulation platform. So now you are yourself drawing the observations. And if you connect this thing to the biology, if you connect the same to the human eyes, so you can see that we can see the distant object, we can see the near object, but the lens is same. Otherwise, we need to require different sets of the lens to focus a distant object and to focus a nearer object. But we are blessed with a single lens. In each of course, still we can see what is the reason. The reason is that the focal length of the eye lens is variable. We can change it. And how will we change? Now we got idea. You can change the refractive index of the lens of our eye either by changing the refractive index of the material of the lens or by changing the radius of curvature of the lens. So here in our case, we can't change the refractive index of the material of the lens, eye lens. But we can do, we can stretch the lens or we can compress the lens through certain muscles which regulate the radius of curvature of our eye lens, and in that sense we can adjust to the distance of the object without any distortion of the image. And another thing you have seen is that earlier the lens was focusing somewhere here and now it is focusing here. So I am having specs. I am a myopic person, I can't see distant objects. So what is the reason? The reason is that my eye lens is thick like this lens. मेरी जो आंखों का लेंस है वो इस लेंस के जैसा मोटा हो चुका है. And since my eye lens is thicker, so its convergence power has increased. उसका convergence power बढ़ने का impact ये है कि now the focus is not, the image plane is not at the retina. Retina is a type of screen. The image is being formed away from the retina. And we want it back to retina. We are using two options. Either you have to use existing glasses. Right now, what I am using a concave lenses, and that help me to increase my vision. And other is to make the lens thin. मैं अपनी आंखों को सुधारने के लिए दो तरीके आजमा सकता हूँ. या तो मैं चश्मा पहन लूं, चश्मा पहनने से जो कंपाउंड लेंस बनेगा जिससे मेरी जो ये फोकल लेंथ आंखों की एडजस्ट हो जाएगी. और दूसरा ऑप्शन ये है कि किसी भी तरह से मेरी आंखों का जो मोटाई है उसको कम कर दिया जाए. सो हाउ टू डू सो? दैट कैन बी डन बाय द हेल्प ऑफ सर्जरी. एंड द लेजिक सर्जरी इज अ वेरी गुड ऑप्शन. द लेजर बीम आर पीलिंग द एक्स्ट्रा थिकनेस ऑफ द लेंस. जैसा कि प्याज नहीं होता, प्याज में देयर आर वेरियस पील्स. अगर आप प्याज के पील को निकालेंगे, सिमिलरली लाइक दैट द extra thickness of the lens is being peeled by the beam of the laser. So this way we have studied the behavior of the convex lens, and similarly we can study the behavior of the concave lens also. We can make a concave lens. So that I will not tell you how to make a concave lens. You please try it yourself, because I want to show you number of things and 1 hour has already been elapsed. So I move to the next thing. I want to show you the behavior of the prism. Again, constructivism. Okay. तो मैंने इसको बंद किया. Let me remove it. For removing it, now, okay, remove this beam as well. This is also being removed. Now I want to show you the behavior of a prism. So you can make your own prism, but I am using this prism, which is available by default. And of course, you can change the dimension of the sphere prism, but that I will not do. Now I will need a beam of light. This is my beam of light. Now what you are observing, this beam of light when falling on the prism, here the beam is being deviated towards the base, and again there is a deviation. So finally this beam emerges from this side, and apart from this refraction or transmission of the beam, there is a reflection also. Certain part of beam is reflected from here, and certain part is reflected from here as well. Okay, so this is a realistic thing which is happening with the realistic prisms also. Now I want to show you another phenomena, that is the dispersion of the light. That is the splitting of the light in colors. So that is being possible when we are using a white light, but this light is not white. So first of all, we need to make this light to white. To do so, again, right click on the beam. Then there is option for background. Okay, use here. Then it is okay. Laser appearance. In appearance, you choose white. You can see my cursor. My cursor is moving towards the white portion. And here, now what you are observing? You are observing that this white light, when it is falling on the prism, and we are having a beautiful spectrum of the light. You can see the colors are being splitted. Various colors are splitting here. So that is a very brilliant demonstration of the dispersion of the light. Now I want to show you certain other characteristics. When the students are using this prism, so you may not get such brilliant spectrum. There may be certain reasons. So again, I will not tell you what to do. I will show you. Just do you observe yourself, and you will find that how to get a better spectrum of this white light through the prism. So what I am telling, so again, this has appeared. I need to rotate now. I will change the angle of the incidence of this ray. So to do so, I will rotate the prism. Now what happening? At this angle, you can see that the colors are mixing. Colors are mixing here, okay? And here, the mixing is very bad. Means you can't distinguish the different colors. So it means that if you want a better spectrum, you have to choose a proper angle of incidence. And here, the colors are beautifully splitted. And this is the angle. Now I want to further improve it. Let's try to change the beam diameter, beam size. So you can change the beam size also. Use the right click. In the laser pen, there are two options. One is the fade distance. If you are increasing the fade distance, the intensity of the light will increase. It will fade at a further distance. And second is the size of the beam. So here I am increasing the size. Now when the beam size is increasing, you can see now the beam size is larger. And in doing so, what we are observing is that there is a very large overlapping of the colors. So what important lesson we learn from here? That the beam size should be less to observe a brilliant rainbow. It is not rainbow, something like that. So now let's try to decrease the beam size. Now my beam size is very thin. I am having a very thin beam. And by using a thin beam, you can see that the colors are beautifully splitted. Now they can be easily resolved. You can easily resolve these colors. So when we are using the spectrometer, we are using a collimeter. So what is the role of the collimeter? The role of the collimeter is to provide a thin beam. So ये मैंने आपको डिस्कशन बताया. आप अपना प्रिज्म बना सकते हैं और भी इसमें चेंजेस कर सकते हैं. So let's move further. मैं आपको दूसरी बातें इसके बारे में फटाफट बता दूं, फिर हम आगे बढ़ें. मिरर्स भी यहाँ पर थे. You can use mirrors. तो ये लाइट वाला पोर्शन तो मैंने आपको बता दिया. Now I want to show you certain things about mechanics also. So I want to make a small vehicle. मुझे एक छोटी सी गाड़ी बनानी है, and I want to observe the motion of this vehicle, because when we are teaching science, there are examples. A bus is moving and this is the speed and something like that. So we want to visualize those things to the students. To do so, we require a vehicle. So this is the body of the vehicle. Since we are running out of the time, so we can't impart any beauty in this vehicle. Now we want wheels. So these are my two wheels. This is my first wheel, and I want a similar wheel also. If I am drawing it, the size may not be same. You can form a tractor also. So better to clone it. So right click. You are having the clone of the wheels, and we placed the wheels here. Now this is the play button. So what is the role of the play button? The gravity is not operating right now. When you are clicking to this play button, the gravity will come into action. And what would be the impact of the gravity? That this vehicle will come down. It will fall over the floor. But what happens? Everything has been dismantled. Why? Because the wheels were not joined. So we need to join the wheels. So you can do so by two options. One is the keel, जिसको इंग्लिश में बोलेंगे क्या बोल, nails. Another one is the axle. If you are using the nail, then what would be the impact? Of course, the wheels would be attached with the body of the vehicle, but it will not have the degree of the freedom to rotate. Hence, we will not be using this nail. We will be using this axle. मैंने यहाँ पर axle को लगा दिया. One axle here, other axle here. Now let's operate the gravity. You can see that the vehicle is not dismantled like earlier it was happening. But the problem is that still the vehicle is not moving because we want certain power. So without power, the vehicle will not move. So we need to impart power to the vehicle. To do so, what we will be doing? Just right click at the axle and choosing the axle option. There are option for motor. When we are choosing the option of the motor, now what will happen? The axle will be energized. And here you can adjust two parameters. One, that is the motor speed, which is we are calling it as RPM. And other one is the motor torque, which is measured in nanometer. So we might be wondering that our vehicle, there are gears and there are throttle also, accelerator also. So what is the difference between this torque and speed? That you can beautifully understand by the use of this concept. So I am just reducing the speed. My speed is say 5 rotations per minute. Very slow. Okay, 6. That's the point. Now let's start the play button. Now what happens? My vehicle is moving. अब गाड़ी जो है चल पड़ी है. अब ऐसी मैं दूसरी गाड़ी भी बना सकता हूँ. मैं दोनों की रेस करा सकता हूँ. I can combine them and I can have data also from these vehicles. Data like the speed, like the torque and all those things. मैं आपको एक बात और बता दूं. For example, I want to teach my student simple pendulum. So those things is also possible. I will just make a simple pendulum here. मैंने एक base आया. This is the base, and then another vertical bar, and then I have to fix it. We need a nail. It is the nail here. We need another bar over the top, from which our pendulum would be suspended. We require a nail here as well. So this is our platform or for the pendulum. Now we require a bob. So this is our bob. Now we can attach either a chain, a string, or we can attach a string, rope, sorry. So I am using a spring. Now the spring is being attached to this pendulum. Now let's operate it. So what happened? It is slightly oscillating, but we want more displacement. So let's stretch it. Oh, sorry. I have stretched this pendulum up to this point, and let's release it. What happening? It is oscillating, but the oscillations has been faded very fast. So you can change the parameter of the spring. What parameters you can change? You can change the spring constant. So let's see what will be the impact of the spring constant. You can see that when I reduce the spring constant, the spring has been stretched. So when the spring constant is reducing, it is easier for the spring to stretch. Another option was the damping. Let's reduce the damping so that our pendulum should oscillate at a longer time. Again, stretch it, release, and now our pendulum is oscillating beautifully. And you can have another option also, that is ऐसा नहीं आएगा. Okay. So our pendulum is oscillating, but one thing I want to show you is that forces. You can show the velocity also. Show components, v velocities, v angular velocities, everything would be seen now. Again, stretch it. Now this arrow is the vector. It is the vector showing the direction for the velocity vector. Okay, and you can have graph also. But since we are running out of the time, so I will not move further. That you can later explore. I have told you about liquid also. We can use liquid also. For example, I need water. So this is my cloud, a rectangular cloud. And in this cloud, there is no water. So first of all, we need to fill it with water. You can do the option of liquefy. Now this cloud is made up of a rectangular cloud we are having, which is made up of water. Now let's have the rainy season. The water has fallen. So you can see that what sorts of thing we can do, beautiful things we can do by the help of this software, we can make our own animations in science. We can make our own simulations. So this is a very good platform. When you are exploring it on your part, you will find it very important, very useful. Now, the next thing which I would like to tell you is, let me close it. The next thing which I told you is, I want to show you the coding part. So in the coding part, in the programming part, there is a little problem. There are certain suspicions, doubts in the part of the parents and teachers also, because the course is already being overloaded, and the government, the ministry is also planning to reduce the size of the bag, the size of the content, and we are now introducing the code also. So how it will happen? So what I feel is that if we are doing it in the isolation from the existing subjects, we would be doing the same mistake which we did earlier also. What is required is to integrate the new concept of coding with the existing subjects. And if we are successful in integrating that coding part, the programming part with the existing subjects, then what benefit it will yield? These two things will complement each other. The regular subject will be benefited by the introduction of the coding, and coding will be benefited by the introduction by the regular subjects, science, mathematics. So, but when we focus on coding, something it is a computer programming, the question arises that there are various languages. कई सारी लैंग्वेज है कंप्यूटर प्रोग्राम करने के लिए, लाइक सी, पहले बेसिक वगैरह हुआ करती थी, आजकल उनका चलन नहीं है, लाइक सी, सी प्लस प्लस, then Python, which is very hot cake now, and then comes Java. It is also very important language. So the biggest question arises, what language from where to start? So in that case, the answer would be different from person to person. So my observation is that it is better to start from Python. Python is a very beautiful programming language, and it is not only helpful for the science teachers, it is helpful for each and every teacher. Because why programming? The first question is, why programming? Programming because right now we are living in the age of informations. We are flooded with informations. We are living in the vast ocean of informations. Informations everywhere. Whatever information you require, it is on the tip of your finger using the phone. Everything is smart. Our phones are smart. Our homes are smart. Everything is smart. So we need to be ourselves also smart. We should be open to this smartness. And the smartness should start right from ourselves, not from the phone or from the house. We should be smart. And to do so, we should have a strong element of flexibility so that we can adapt to the changes. The Darwinian theory should hold to in case of learning also. Because we have seen the conditions of certain gigantic companies like Nokia. Nokia was the pioneer in the field of communication as far as mobile technology is concerned. But right now we see that Nokia does not have any significant presence in the mobile market. Hello? So right now, because Nokia could not adapt with the changes. Nokia could not start the Android. If Nokia would have picked the Android, Nokia would be still in the march. So we have to adapt to the changes, accept the change and accept the changes, because the world is changing very fast. वो जो पहले जमाना हुआ करता था कि पीजी पीएचडी और अब जीवन भर आप आराम से नौकरी लगने के बाद अपना निर्वहन कर सकते हैं, I think that this present age will not support this theory anymore, because this is the age of continuous learning. You have to learn continuously, because whatever you are learning right now would not be of use after few time. Another thing will come. We have to pick that thing and we have to learn that thing. So what is required to learn is how to learn, how to have this flexibility of learning. As far as coding is concerned, few months back, I don't know anything about coding. But due to the lockdown situation, I have nothing to do. So at that time, in the month of, I think May, I started this coding. And I made certain codes, which I will share you. So And also I was telling that we are living in the age of the informations. We are having a lot of data. The most important thing is the processing of the data and to make a meaningful interpretation from the data. To have the meaningful interpretation from and this is not domain of the science people only. It is for everyone, every person, whether it is economic student of economics, whether it is political science, anywhere you need data and you have to interpret that data. For example, a political party requires data. It has to understand the trend of the people. They used to do surveys. The news channel, they also used to do surveys. And they are, after the survey, they are having the data, and that the data need to be interpreted. To interpret the data and make a meaningful interpretation from the data, we require certain tools. And the programming is a very effective tool to interpret the data. So, as I was telling that there are various platforms, various languages. We can start from anywhere, but I said Python is a very good programming language, and Python is very easy also. तो प्रोग्रामिंग क्या है मैं आपको थोड़ा सा वो भी बताऊंगा. उसके पहले जो पाइथन का छोटा छोटा मैंने काम किया है, आई वांट टू शेयर इट विथ यू. सो दिस इज माय प्रोग्रामिंग. शुरू करने के लिए आपके पास चाहिए IDE. IDE is the integrated development environment. तो ये जो मेरा पाइथन का एनवायरमेंट है ये है एनाकोंडा. एनाकोंडा के अलावा दूसरे एनवायरमेंट भी होते हैं लाइक पाईचार्म, पर मैंने ये एनाकोंडा को चूज किया क्योंकि एनाकोंडा मेरे लिए काम का है, खास करके साइंस के लिए. सो दीज आर द वेरियस ऑप्शंस एंड फॉर अ साइंस यू कैन चूज दिस स्पाइडर or you can use this IPython. IPython is a integrated Python, and these two are very beautiful platforms. So right now I am launching this spider. This is a very beautiful platform for using scientific programming. So let it start. It will take just 1 or 2 minutes only. Oh, sorry, it is already launched there. Sorry. This is the program. This is the window, and here you can make your programs. So I have made a program a few days back, just a couple of months back, and this is the program to have the idea about the timing. समय जानने के लिए. पर कौन सा समय जानने के लिए ऑलरेडी वी आर हैविंग द वॉच एंड द क्लॉक. पर मुझे जानना था व्हाट इज द मुहूर्त, व्हाट इज द करंट मुहूर्त. Though I don't have any interest in the Jyotishi, neither I have any, okay, leave it. So what I mean was that I want to just test my idea of this programming. तो मैंने एक अपना प्रोग्राम बनाया जिसके जरिए से मैं मुहूर्त को जान सकता हूँ. मैं उसके जरिए से ये पता लगा सकता हूँ कि ये मुहूर्त अच्छा है, बुरा है, ये वर्क करता है, नहीं करता है, ये मुझे इससे कोई लेना देना नहीं है. मेरा काम तो था कि प्रोग्रामिंग करना. ओके, सो लेट्स टेस्ट इट. तो ये लगभग 200-300 लाइन का मेरा प्रोग्राम है, अभी पूरा कंप्लीट नहीं हुआ है, आगे इसको कर बढ़ाऊंगा. सो लेट्स रन इट. मैंने इस प्रोग्राम को रन किया. अब रन करने पर यहाँ आप देखेंगे इट इज आस्किंग यू एंटर योर सिटी. Because in Indian calendar and the Gregorian calendar there is a basic difference. In the Gregorian calendar the day start at 12 night. रात को 12 बजे के बाद नए दिन की शुरुआत होती है. And that time is static, that time is fixed. But if you follow the Indian system of measurement of the time, the day start from the sunrise, and the timing of the sunrise is not static. Timing of the sunrise is floating, and that is subjected to the location also. जैसे कि मेरे शहर का टाइमिंग सनराइज का अलग है, आपके शहर का टाइमिंग सनराइज का अलग है. मेरे ही शहर में आज सनराइज का समय अलग है, 2 महीने बाद सनराइज का समय. तो मुहूर्त का जो कैलकुलेशन है वो पूरा गड़बड़ा जाएगा अगर आप कैलेंडर के जरिए से देखेंगे. तो फिर मैं अपने शहर यानी भोपाल का मुहूर्त देखना चाहता हूँ. इसने पूछा अपने शहर का नाम डालिए. मैंने भोपाल शहर का नाम डाला, एंटर दबाया. देखिए, when I entered my city Bhopal, it is giving me the location of the my city. The latitude that is 23.25. So Tropic of Cancer passes from my city, almost near to it, and this is the longitude, and this is the date, today's date, 16th October, and this is the time. Right now the time is 10:42, and Suryodaya, it is giving me the time of sunrise. So sunrise today in my city is at 6:17. Or Suryast, it will happen at 5:54. Now it is saying that Rahu Kal is going on. Rahu Kal has started from 10:38 to, and it will last till 12:05. So during this time, an auspicious work is not supposed to be done, and the present Muhurat is the Varaha, and this Varaha Muhurat, its timing is 10:17 to 11:05. So in the Gregorian system of time, the hour duration is 60 minutes, and in the Indian system for the measurement of the time, the counterpart of hour is Muhurat, and its timing is 45 minutes. So there are 30 Muhurat in a day. Now let's try to calculate the Muhurat of your city, or the sunrise or sunset time of your city. Rajkot, if I am not wrong, Rajkot, मैंने Rajkot डाला. So Rajkot डालने पर you can see some error has occurred, क्योंकि राजकोट मैंने थोड़ी देर पहले किया था तो इसने काम किया था. Here the timing of the sunrise is different from the timing of the sunrise from my city. So this was just an example. मैं दूसरा आपको एग्जांपल देना चाहूंगा इसी सिलसिले में. मैंने ओपन किया. Now अगर इस मैथमेटिकल okay, area computed volume. So this program, a very simple program. So what I have done is that right now in the beginning of the session, I have told you that basic aim of maths teaching should be to develop the thinking like that of a mathematician. एक मैथमेटिशियन किस तरह से सोचता है, वो सोच डेवलप बच्चों में कैसे की जाए, ये उद्देश्य एक गणित के शिक्षण का होना चाहिए. तो गणित की तरह से सोचता है कि गणित बच्चों को पढ़ाएं स्कूल लेवल पर, खास करके. प्रॉब्लम इज दैट मैथ्स इज without test. Most of the student ask that whatever I am learning, what is the use of that maths? मैंने ट्रिग्नोमेट्री पढ़ा, मैंने अलजेब्रा पढ़ा, इसका जीवन में इस्तेमाल क्या है? So that is a very biggest demotivating factor from part of the child to learn, because he or she don't know what is the motive of learning this maths. So here, why? Because our maths is without context, and another factor, that is our mathematics is written by the mathematicians and written for the mathematicians. So by the mathematician is okay, no problem with that. But I think that they should write the textbook of mathematics for the students who can have certain reflection in the society, the usage of the mathematics. That will be a very good factor, a very good motivating factor. Another thing is that our mathematics is very much mechanical. So what is the meaning of mechanical? By mechanical, we mean that, for example, I want to calculate the area of a circle, and the formula is pi r square. So just use the value of r, put it in the formula, and you will get the area of the circle done. No, this is called the mechanical system of mathematics. What is the drawback in it? The drawback in it is that this is completely product oriented. Process part is completely missing here. For example, pi 3.14. The first question is, why the value of pi is 3.14? Of course, they are having the ratio of the circumference and the diameter, all those things. And then we come to learn that there are computers which can calculate the value of pi correct to 32 digits, correct to 100 digits, correct to 1000 digits, because it's an irrational number. The digits will not end. Now, the question arises, if I am choosing 3.14 as the value of pi, then what the hell is the use for using this pi correct to 100 digits? So this is basically due to the absence of non-mechanical system of learning. This is basically due to the absence of involving the process in learning. So here I just told I am giving an example. Here I am going to calculate volume of a sphere. Now volume of a sphere, there is a formula for it, that is 4 by 3 pi r cube. So nothing special in it. If I am using program for that, it is very simple thing. But what I am telling is that just now I give an example how to think like a mathematician. मान लीजिए कि दुनिया में किसी को भी ये नहीं पता होता कि एक गोले का वॉल्यूम कैसे निकाला जाता है. How to find the volume of a sphere? Nobody knows. And we want to calculate the volume. Then how we would have started? So this is the problem solving. इस प्रॉब्लम को किस तरह से सोल्व किया जाए. देयर इज नो फॉर्मूला. सो यू विल डू सर्टेन टाइप ऑफ मॉडलिंग. मॉडलिंग आपने इस तरह से किया कि द बिग स्फीयर यू ड्रॉ टाइनी स्लाइसेस ऑफ द स्फीयर. आपने स्फीयर की पतली पतली बारीक बारीक स्लाइस काट ली. एंड व्हेन यू पिक एनी स्लाइस ऑफ द स्फीयर, व्हाट वुड बी द शेप ऑफ द स्लाइस? द शेप ऑफ द स्लाइस वुड बी लाइक ए डिस्क, a cylinder whose height is very small. And when you add the volume of each and every slice and add together, then what will happen? You will get the volume of complete sphere. I repeat again, what can we do? What is our mathematical modeling? हमारी mathematical modeling किस तरह से इस प्रॉब्लम को सॉल्व करने के लिए? देखिए, अब ये सिस्टम मैकेनिकल नहीं है, अब ये प्रोसेस ओरिएंटेड हो चुका है, क्योंकि इसको जानने का तरीका हमारे पास नहीं है. माना कि we don't know the formula. We are living in the age 2000 years back. आज से हम 2000 साल पीछे की सिचुएशन की बात कर रहे हैं, जब मान लीजिए किसी को भी ये गोले का वॉल्यूम निकालने का फॉर्मूला नहीं पता. तो हमने सोचा कि क्यों ना इसकी बारीक बारीक स्लाइस काट दी जाए. बारीक स्लाइस काट कर हर स्लाइस का वॉल्यूम निकाला जाए और उसको जोड़ा जाए. यह कहलाता है मैथमेटिकल मॉडलिंग. तो कोडिंग के लिए, जैसे कि मैं आपसे बात कर रहा था कि हमें सब्जेक्ट को इंटीग्रेट करना पड़ेगा. सब्जेक्ट को इंटीग्रेट करने से फायदे ही फायदे हैं. दोनों पार्ट जो है एक दूसरे को पोषित करेगा. They will nurture each other. The computer science part will be nurtured by the mathematics or science or other part, and the core subjects will also be benefited by the coding part, because now the student will develop the ability to think. Process part is there. Now we have done the mathematical modeling. Okay, the visual here. Sorry for that. And then comes, we need to calculate the individual volume of each and every slice, and then we need to add this slice together. For example, I got a sphere of radius say 10 centimeter, and I divide that sphere into 20 parts. In that case, the calculation would not be much complicated, because I just need to find the radius of 20 discs, and then I need to add. So I can do so in few minutes. But just imagine if I am dividing that sphere in 10 lakh parts, tiny thin slices, and what is the number? 10 lakh. Just imagine you are going to calculate the volume of each and every 10 lakh slices. Okay, and then you have to add them together. How much time it will take? It will take months. It may take years. Very long process. But if we are using this programming, you can do in fraction of second. तो यहाँ ये काम करने के लिए हमने क्या किया? सबसे पहले हमने किया मैथमेटिकल मॉडलिंग की. मैथमेटिकल मॉडलिंग करने के बाद कंप्यूटर किस तरह से सोचता है, ये सोच हमें डेवलप करनी होगी. How computer works? Through experience, you will learn those things. After mathematical modeling, now you want computational modeling. And computational modeling is nothing but algorithm. And then there comes syntax. Use those syntax. There are certain segments that I will tell you of any type of programming language, whether it is C, C++, Java, or Python, or whatever. There are few basic things. You need to focus on those few basic things. And the difference is in the syntax. And the difference is in the use of the ease of the variation in the ease of the use. किसी में ये काम करना आसान है, किसी में ये काम करना कठिन. चलिए, तो अब मैंने ये स्फीयर ले लिया है. अब मैं इस स्फीयर का वॉल्यूम निकालना चाहता हूं. मैंने रन किया. देखिए, रन करने पर आप ये बोल रहा है एंटर नंबर. नंबर का मतलब कि जो स्फीयर आप जिसका वॉल्यूम निकालना चाहते हैं, आप उसकी कितनी स्लाइस लेना चाहते हैं. तो मैं फिलहाल लेता हूँ इसकी मैं इसकी लेता हूँ 10, 100, 1000, 10,000, लाख, 10 लाख. मैं एक ऐसे स्फीयर की कल्पना कर रहा हूं. आई एम इमेजिनिंग ए स्फीयर विच आई विल take 10 lakh slices, disc shaped slices. Okay, तो मैंने 10 lakh number डाल दिया. Now it is asking that what should be the radius of the sphere. So I took radius to be say 13. 13 is the radius of the sphere. Then again enter. Oh, what we got? The calculated volume of sphere is 9202.772 and the computed volume of the sphere is 9202.7651. Okay, and the percentage error in the computation of the volume is not 7.5. 7.5 into 10 to the power minus 5%. मतलब कितना परसेंटेज एरर आया दोनों तरीकों में? 0.00075%. देखिए, ये एक मैंने निकाला फॉर्मूले से, मैंने 4/3 पाई आर क्यूब फॉर्मूले का इस्तेमाल किया, और दूसरा मैंने जो मैथमेटिकल मॉडलिंग की थी, मैथमेटिकल मॉडलिंग का इस्तेमाल करके मैंने फिर वॉल्यूम निकाला. So these two volumes are almost exactly same with an error of 0.00075%. So what time it took? Fraction of second. लगभग ना के बराबर समय में with a blinking of the eyes we got the calculation. तो ये मैं आपको पाइथन का एक पावर बता रहा था, और इसके कई सारे पावर है, ग्राफिक्स में इसका यूज है. फिलहाल हमारे पास इतना समय नहीं है. मेरा जो उद्देश्य था वो तो आपको इन चीजों से परिचित कराना था. तो फर्दर इन फ्यूचर इफ वी गॉट चांस वी विल फर्दर टॉक अबाउट इट. सो दिस इज वेरी नाइस टूल, एक्सेलेंट टूल. अब दूसरी बात जो मैं आपको बताना चाहता हूं, मैंने पाइथन का थोड़ा आपको इंट्रोडक्शन दिया. देन कम्स दिस टिंकरकैड. सो ये मेरा आखिरी हिस्सा है जो मैं आपको बताना चाहता हूं, टिंकरकैड. So Tinkercad is an excellent software developed by Autodesk. Autodesk is a very gigantic software company of the world. The industrial drawings are made on the basis of this Autodesk. जो इंजीनियरिंग ड्राइंग बनाई जाती है, डिजाइन किए जाते हैं कंपोनेंट्स, वो सारे ऑटोडेस्क पे किए जाते हैं. नॉट सारे, बट इट इज अ वेरी स्ट्रॉन्ग ब्रांड. एंड देन in the entertainment industry also this software is used, other software is used of course. So you can see in my screen there are certain options: 3D design, circuits, code block, lesson, all those things. So this is again a free software like Algodo was also free, and this is also free, but the difference is that this is an online software. You can't download it. Internet connectivity is required for using this software. Another thing that I would like to tell you is that in the television, when we observe the advertisements, White Hat and Vedantu and all those, so all those people use the same types of platforms, same types, and without spending even a single rupee, everybody can learn this programming. Okay, so just by and how to learn that I will try to tell within the available time. I will try my best because it requires a lot of time, but still I can introduce for now. So I can introduce. So here there are two options, two parts. One is the 3D design. So what is this 3D design? This 3D design is to make designs three-dimensional. You can make a bottle like this. You can make a mouse like this. Anything like that. So ये जो हिस्सा है 3D डिजाइन का, यहाँ पर काम आता है. And one more thing I would like to tell you is that the government has already taken an excellent initiative in this field, and that is Atal Tinkering Lab. Atal Tinkering Lab, I think most of you might be familiar with it. This is a very beautiful concept. It is working under the Niti Aayog, and the government is providing, if I am not wrong, a sum of 2 million rupees to school which fulfills the criteria. And the good thing and the good part of this initiative is that this 2 million rupees, they are not only for the government run school, they are for all the private schools as well. So this beautiful scheme is for the children of India. So what things we want for the next century, what new skills we want for the next century, this Atal Tinkering Lab beautifully takes care of these requirements. But the problem is that I'm not sure. I don't have any database for support of this my statement. Is that the what I feel is that the teachers are not properly trained how to use those things. There are microcontrollers. There are many equipments provided. There are laptops given. There are 3D printers. So these particular website, Tinkercad, this can be an excellent substitute, not substitute. This can be an excellent aid for adult tinkering lab. तो 3D डिजाइन आप यहाँ से कर सकते हैं, बड़ा सरल है. When you will be exploring, you can easily understand that thing that I will not tell you. I will tell you about circuit and coding. Okay? तो circuit मैंने खोला, पास का इंट्रोड्यूस करा दूं. मैंने विंडो खोली है, it is taking time. Within few seconds it will open. कई सारे मैंने प्रोजेक्ट ऑलरेडी बनाए हुए हैं, या आप देख सकते हैं that I will share with you. So you can see on your screen a window has opened, and at the right hand side again there is a tool bar. If just I scroll down, you can see there are certain tools, and these are not the only, you can have more. I am choosing all the components. So you can see this is a resistor, capacitor, polarized capacitor, diode, inductor, push buttons, potentiometers, LDRs, sensors, buttons, LED strips, motors, various types of motors, then LCD screen, then cells, batteries, then breadboard, then microcontrollers, then measuring instruments like multimeter, power supply, function generator, oscilloscope, then comes various ICs, integrated circuits, transistors, power transistors, relays, motor driver. So these are various options, and if you observe fully, you will find that here these components looks like the realistic components. We are not using the symbols, so this thing will be very captive for the students. Means when the student is interacting with this particular software, then he will found that all the components being displayed here are realistic type. Means there is no mismatch between the real and these components. There will not be any problem for the identity also. The student will be easily able to identify the components by observing the components which are being mentioned here. So I again scroll the components. ध्यान से आप देखिएगा, मैं धीरे धीरे इन कंपोनेंट्स को स्क्रॉल कर रहा हूं. यहाँ आपको सेंसर दिखा, शुरू में मैं कैपेसिटर दिखा, सेंसर दिखा. सेंसर के बाद, सेंसर का मतलब क्या होता है? Like we are sensing the world through the sensory organs which we are being blessed with, like eyes, like ears. We can sense the audio signal by the help of ears. We can sense the temperature, cold by the skin. We can sense the touch by the skin, and these are our basic sensors. Similarly, a machine also requires certain sensors. Sensing temperature. For example, you are having refrigerator. The refrigerator, you don't require certain person to operate the refrigerator. It is automatically switching. When the temperature is increasing to a preset value, it will switch again, and it will start cooling process. So sensors are there in the refrigerator also, and various equipments, the smart technology. These are the motors, and here is the power. This is the battery. Okay, you can draw power from the vegetables also. Like this is a potato battery, lemon battery. This is a coin cell, tiny for the tiny small operations. And here comes a power supply where you have large voltage. So these are again the components. So ये जो मैंने आपको पूरा स्क्रॉल किया, यहाँ पर बेसिकली 3-4 किस्म की बातें हैं. कौन कौन सी? पहला है, फर्स्ट थिंग इज पावर. फर्स्ट इज द पावर. वी ऑल लव पावर. हम सबको पावर पसंद आता है. Second thing is the control. Control of the power. Everybody likes to control the world. Those people who are having a strong nature instinct of controlling I think they are very suitable person for technology, because technology offers you a platform for controlling the gigantic machines. They are controlled by just a touch. You might have seen JCB working in the field, in the ground, and the person who is sitting in the cabin, he is just moving the joystick. And by the slight movement of the joystick, the gigantic arms of the JCB are moving. They can lift heavy loads like that. So if you love control, if you love power, you should love technology. And you might have seen that why boys are being attracted towards the technology. I think that this may be the fundamental reason, because they love power, they love control. Okay, तो ये मैंने आपको कुछ कंट्रोल बताया. अब यहाँ पर इनका यूज कैसे करना है, यूज बड़ा ही आसान चीज है. कई सारे वीडियोस हैं, आप वीडियोस को सर्च करेंगे आपके बारे में, क्योंकि वी आर हैविंग लेस टाइम, दैट्स व्हाई. तो सबसे पहले मैं आपको जो बात कर रहा था एल्गोरिथम ऑफ कोडिंग की, किस तरह से कोडिंग शुरू की जाए, तो एल्गोरिथम के लिए पहले आपको बेसिक कंपोनेंट से परिचित कराना पड़ेगा. ओके, सो व्हाट आर द बेसिक कंपोनेंट्स, जैसे कि मैंने ये लिया रजिस्टर. जस्ट द आइडिया इज वेरी सिंपल, ड्रैग एंड ड्रॉप. ड्रैग एंड ड्रॉप से आप इन कंपोनेंट्स को स्क्रीन पर इस तरह से ला सकते हैं. दिस इज द पुश बटन, ये एक स्लाइड. इन सबको आप एक एक करके आसानी से ड्रैग एंड ड्रॉप के जरिए से ये एलईडी आप स्क्रीन पर ला सकते हैं. ये बल्ब है, सभी को पता है. दिस इज द एलईडी स्ट्रिप. दिवाली आने वाली है तो ये इसका बड़ा चलन अभी होगा. दिस आर द मोटर, सिंपल डीसी मोटर्स 7, ये बैटरी है. तो इनका यूज बड़ा ही सरल है, आप आसानी से ड्रैग एंड ड्रॉप करके इनका यूज कर सकते हैं. अब रही बात, जैसे कि मैंने ये आईसी, जैसे मैंने एलईडी लिया, एलईडी का 2 टर्मिनल है. I am moving my cursor at this side and it is telling me that this is the cathode part, and I am moving my cursor here, it is telling that this is the anode part. So when we are integrating it with the power, then we need to add it properly. Anode should be connected with the positive part of the battery, and cathode should be connected to the negative terminal of the battery. So when you are moving the cursor, the specifications are already being clear here. देखिए मैं अपनी कर्सर को ला रहा हूं, वो कौन सा पिन है वो खुद ही उसको बता रहा है. पिन का मतलब आपको यहाँ से समझ में जाएगा. अब मुझे जानना है कि ये LM393 IC क्या है. मुझे कुछ नहीं करना है, इस LM393 IC को गूगल पर डालना है. LM393 का स्पेसिफिकेशन मुझे गूगल से मालूम पड़ जाएगा. फिर मुझे जानना है कि व्हाट इज द यूज ऑफ LM393. LM393 के क्या यूसेस हैं वो आपको मालूम पड़ जाएगा. नेसेसरी सर्किट आपको गूगल पे मिल जाएंगे. अब ऐसा ही सर्किट आप यहाँ पर रेप्लिकेट कर सकते हैं, बड़ा ही आसान काम है. तो हाँ, फिर आपको ये कंपोनेंट से परिचित कराने के बाद, वंस द स्टूडेंट्स आर बीइंग इंट्रोड्यूस्ड बाय द बेसिक कंपोनेंट्स, नाउ द नेक्स्ट टास्क इज वी शुड स्टार्ट फ्रॉम ए ब्रेडबोर्ड. ब्रेडबोर्ड इज ए डेवलपमेंट बोर्ड फॉर प्रोटोटाइपिंग. ये 3 प्रकार के ब्रेडबोर्ड यहाँ पर मौजूद हैं. मैंने ये ब्रेडबोर्ड को लिया. ब्रेडबोर्ड का मतलब क्या है कि हियर इट इज वेरी इजी टू मेक सिंपल सर्किट्स. आपको इन कंपोनेंट्स को इसमें लगा देना है, और जोड़ने के लिए आपको नूडल्स वायर का इस्तेमाल करना पड़ेगा. नूडल्स वायर मतलब दे आर वेरी थिन वायर्स, लुक लाइक नूडल्स, दैट्स व्हाई दे आर कॉल्ड एज नूडल वायर. फॉर एग्जांपल, आई नीड टू मेक ए वेरी सिंपल सर्किट, a simple circuit where I need to operate an LED with a or a bulb with a battery. अब देखिए how to I can place my LED like this way, or I can place the components like this way also, but the two things may not be same, may not be correct, because we need to understand the internal wiring of this breadboard. So when I am moving my cursor, this row is being, what does it mean? It means that this column is internally connected. If I am moving my cursor here the row is being greened. It means that this row is internally connected. This row is also internally connected. So you need not to connect this row again externally, because it is already being connected. Now, if I am connecting this resistor in this manner, then what does it mean? This resistor is short, because the wires are inside the breadboard also, which are parallel to the resistor. So resistor will not be connected in this manner. LED is connected properly, no problem with that. अब मुझे चाहिए यहाँ पर एक बैटरी, तो बैटरी मैं कहाँ से लाऊंगा? ये कॉइन बैटरी ली 3 वोल्ट की. नाउ आई नीड वायर्स. तो करके मैंने वायर को लिया, मैंने ये पॉजिटिव लिया, पॉजिटिव को मैं पॉजिटिव रेल में लगा देता हूँ. नाउ व्हाट हैपेंस? दिस रेल इज एनर्जाइज्ड with the positive potential. Now I need another power supply, another potential also, that is a negative potential. मैंने यहाँ से तार लिया और तार से मैंने इसको इस तरह से जोड़ दिया. Now this rail is positively powered and this rail is negatively powered. Now I need to tap power from this power supply or from this rail to this load. So what I need to do? I need to connect it through wires. तो मैं थोड़ा इसको नीचे ले आता हूँ. ओके, तो ये मेरा क्या है? ये मेरा एनोड है, पॉजिटिव. सो लेट्स कंसिडर दैट आई एम कनेक्टिंग दिस कैथोड टू एनोड टू द नेगेटिव सप्लाई. तो नेगेटिव से मैंने एक तार लिया और मैंने ऐसा जोड़ दिया. नाउ लेट्स कनेक्ट. अब देखिए दिस इज इंटरनली कनेक्टेड. ओके, तो आप यहाँ से लेके यहाँ तक जोड़ने की जरूरत नहीं है, बिकॉज इट इज इंटरनली कनेक्टेड. यार हो रहा है ना? सिमिलरली ड्रॉ अनदर वायर फ्रॉम द पॉजिटिव रेल एंड कनेक्ट हियर. नाउ our LED is connected with this cell. Let's simulate. मैंने सर्किट को सिमुलेट किया. Bulb is not glowing. Why bulb is not glowing? Because the circuit is okay, power supply is okay, no problem with that. Then let's try to change the polarity of this cathode and anode. I have connected anode with the negative and cathode with the positive, so it is not working. So now I need to shift it. मैंने इसको चेंज कर दिया. नाउ कैथोड कनेक्टेड टू नेगेटिव, एनोड कनेक्टेड टू पॉजिटिव. लेट्स सिमुलेट अगेन. देखिए जल तो रहा है, इट इज ग्लोइंग, बट व्हेन आई एम मूविंग माय कर्सर, व्हाट इट इज सेइंग इज दैट current through the LED is 61.9 milliampere, while recommended maximum current is 20.5 milliampere. So the problem what has arisen in this circuit is already being showed here. यहाँ पर लिख करके आ रहा है कि ये LED मैक्सिमम 20 मिली एम्पियर का करंट झेल सकता है, पर इसके अंदर फिलहाल 61.9 मिली एम्पियर का करंट फ्लो कर रहा है. तो इसके लिए हमें करना क्या होगा? हमें करंट को कम करना होगा. करंट को कम करने के लिए अब हमें कुछ फिजिक्स के नियम, साइंस के कुछ नियम को समझना होगा. देयर इज a law called Ohm's law. So the Ohm's law will tell us how to regulate the current flowing through this load, this LED. तो यहाँ हम कुछ रेजिस्टेंस लगा देते हैं. तो मैंने इसको हटाया. अच्छा, फिर यहाँ आपको कैलकुलेशन भी करना पड़ेगा. Now what you are seeing is that this technology is now complementing the physics or the science. दूसरा साइंस भी आएगा, बायो भी आएगा, केमिस्ट्री भी आएगा, बट in some other way. मुझे थोड़ा बेसिक बताना था, इसलिए I am showing you in this manner. Now you need to do certain calculations. Now you need to move your books, science books. आपको पन्ने पलटने होंगे. Then you will need to do certain calculations and you have to choose a resistor of appropriate value. So through this, another ability is being developed in the student, and that is the problem solving ability, which is a very important skill for the 21st century. Problem solving ability. Today, the job market requires those people not for having a very good degrees. They want people who are having problem solving ability. They are ready to pay you. But what is required? You should be in a position to solve their problems. And how to develop that ability? The ability will be developed when the student is exposed to the problems. Then only the ability will be developing. Otherwise, if you are not exposing a student to water, you can't expect the student to learn swimming. So first of all, exposure is required. Okay. तो मैंने ये सिंपल सा आपको बताया. अब मैं आपको थोड़ा सा और आगे बता दूं. जो मैंने छोटे मोटे प्रोजेक्ट बनाए, मैं आपको पेडागोजी की बात कर रहा था कि किस तरह से उसको स्टार्ट करना चाहिए. तो सबसे पहले as I told you that we should start with simple components. पहले सिंपल कंपोनेंट्स का नॉलेज बच्चों को होना चाहिए. When the student is having the idea of simple components, then it would be easier for the student to understand the coding part also. तो ये मैंने एक सर्किट बनाया है, मैं आपको दिखा दूं ये सर्किट क्या करने वाला है। ये मैंने दो बल्ब लिए हुए हैं, दो बल्ब को एक बैटरी से जोड़ा हुआ है और यहाँ मैंने एक स्विच लगाया हुआ है। ये वाला स्विच है, दिस इज कॉल्ड ए स्लाइड स्विच। इट इज कॉल्ड स्लाइड स्विच बिकॉज यू कैन स्लाइड दिस वे और दैट वे। देयर आर टू स्टेट्स ऑफ दिस स्विच, राइट और लेफ्ट। ओके, now what is the function of the switch? To understand that the function of the switch, first of all let's simulate. मैंने इसको चालू किया, अभी आप देख रहे हैं कि the left bulb is glowing. Now let's switch the position of the switch. अब क्या हुआ? Now the right bulb is glowing. So this is the function of the bulb. अब मैं इस स्विच से दो लोड को कंट्रोल कर सकता हूं। There are two states of this switch. Either I can operate the left bulb or I can operate the right bulb. तो यहां पर अब बच्चा समझ पाएगा कि ये स्विच किस तरह से काम करता है। तीन उसकी पोलैरिटी है और जो रियलिस्टिक स्विच है वो भी वैसा ही दिखेगा। मतलब आफ्टर सिमुलेशन the student is exposed to the realistic components, then it will not be difficult from the part of the student in having the recognition problem. आसानी से he will or she will connect the two worlds, the real world and the virtual world, because these things are all realistic. तो ये मैंने आपको सिंपल सा एक स्लाइड स्विच का एग्जांपल बताया। उसके बाद मैं आपको ऑर्डर बता रहा हूँ, सीक्वेंस किस तरह से बच्चों को ये बात बताने वाले हैं। फिर मैं एक और सिंपल सा कोई स्विच का अगर दिखाई दे रहा है तो यहाँ पर स्विच, चलिए ये ले लिया, ठीक है। ये है DIP स्विच, ड्यूअल इनलाइन पोल पोर्ट। इसको मैंने सिमुलेट किया, अभी ये स्विच ऑफ है, मैंने इसको ऑन किया। अब देखिए ये स्विच क्या कर रहा है। द स्विच इज ऑपरेटिंग टू लोड्स साइमल्टेनियसली। अर्लियर द स्विच, व्हाट वाज दैट स्विच डूइंग? इट वाज स्विचिंग आइदर वन लोड, या तो लेफ्ट बल्ब या फिर राइट बल्ब। एंड व्हाट दिस स्विच इज डूइंग? दिस ऑपरेटिंग टू लोड साइमल्टेनियसली। मैं इसको बंद करूंगा, दोनों लोड का पावर खत्म। तो मैं आप यहां कर क्या रहा हूं? आई एम कंट्रोलिंग द पावर। जो मैंने आपको शुरू में कहा था कि पावर सबको बड़ा पसंद है और पावर से ज्यादा पसंद है पावर का नियंत्रण, हाउ टू कंट्रोल द पावर। सो दैट्स व्हाई द स्टूडेंट्स आर वेरी मच फैसिनेटेड टुवर्ड्स दिस फील्ड बिकॉज दे कैन कंट्रोल। ओके, मैं आपको इसका फिर दूसरा, ये मैं बेसिक बता रहा हूँ फिलहाल में सबसे पहले, so that the student should be familiar with the basic part of the various components. देखिए अब अगला जो मैं आपको बताने वाला हूं स्विच, हाँ ये देखिए यहां मैं बता रहा हूं आपको एक पोटेंशियोमीटर। ये जो पोटेंशियोमीटर है ये एक ऐसा डिवाइस है जो कि वेरिएबल वोल्टेज देता है। तो यहाँ पर आप देख सकते हैं देयर आर टू मोटर्स एंड राइट नाउ द मोटर्स आर रिवॉल्विंग। स्क्रीन पर आपको दिख रहा होगा, दिस मोटर्स आर मूविंग एट डिफरेंट आरपीएम। दोनों की स्पीड अलग अलग है, ये 3, 5, 6, 6, 9 आरपीएम पर है और ये 2, 8, 3 आरपीएम पर है। नाउ लेट्स चेंज द पोजीशन ऑफ द पोटेंशियोमीटर। पोटेंशियोमीटर की पोजीशन चेंज करने से नाउ यू कैन सी दैट बोथ द आरपीएम्स आर ऑलमोस्ट सेम। पहले ये बहुत तेज थी, ये सॉरी ये तेज थी, ये धीमी थी। अब इसकी स्पीड बढ़ गई और दोनों लगभग बराबर हो गई। नाउ व्हाट इज, अब इसकी स्पीड कम हो गई, इसकी स्पीड बढ़ गई। सो दिस इज एक्टिंग लाइक ए बैलेंस, जैसे कि वो तराजू नहीं होता। सो दिस इज बैलेंसिंग द पावर अक्रॉस द टू मोटर्स। सो अगेन हियर व्हाट वी आर डूइंग, देयर इज ए पावर, ये पावर सोर्स है, एक पावर सप्लाई है। सो वी आर रेगुलेटिंग द पावर बाय द हेल्प ऑफ दिस कंट्रोल एंड दिस इज ए पोटेंशियोमीटर। दिस इज ए पोटेंशियोमीटर। सो ये हमने सिंपल सा एक इंट्रोडक्शन दिया बच्चे को, व्हाट इज द रोल ऑफ पोटेंशियोमीटर। घर के अंदर भी हम इसी तरह से कंट्रोल करते हैं, हमें पावर बंद चालू करनी होती है। वी आर यूजिंग स्विचेस एंड देयर आर टू टाइप्स ऑफ स्विचेस। वन इज द मैनुअल स्विचेस वेयर द ह्यूमन इंटरवेंशन इज एसेंशियल एंड द अदर वन आर द ऑटोमेटिक स्विचेस वेयर द ह्यूमन इंटरवेंशन इज नॉट रिक्वायर्ड। फॉर एग्जाम्पल पहले के जमाने में फ्यूज हुआ करते थे। When there was no power, then what we used to do, we used to check first of all the fuse. We take the ceramic plug, बड़ा भारी भरकम सा एक प्लग होता था सिरामिक का बना हुआ, we need to check the ceramic plug and we find that, oh, the fuse has blown, then we would have been replacing the fuse with certain wire, proper wire, and placing it back. Power is resumed. But nowadays, those types of ceramic fuses are not seen in our homes. Why? Because we are having automatic switches. We are having automatic fuses, not fuses, in fact, so-called fuses, you must say. So these fuses, they are sensing the current, and when the current value exceeds the preset value, मान लीजिए कि हम नहीं चाहते हैं कि करंट 10 एम्पियर से ज्यादा बढ़े, 10 एम्पियर से करंट ज्यादा बढ़ेगा तो आग लग सकती है, शॉर्ट सर्किट हो सकता है. So the component, the passive component, it is sensing the current, and when the limit exceeds the value of 10 ampere, the switch will automatically trip. उसको हम कहते हैं MCB, मैग्नेटिक सर्किट ब्रेकर. एंड यू नीड नॉट टू रिप्लेस इट बैक, जस्ट आप वापस इसको चालू कर दीजिए, इट विल रिज्यूम अगेन. तो पहले मैंने आपको कंट्रोल कैसा बताया, मैनुअल कंट्रोल, सिंपल सा मैनुअल कंट्रोल मैं आपको बता रहा हूं. मैनुअल कंट्रोल के बाद फिर हम कहां पर जाएंगे, हम जाएंगे ऑटोमेटिक कंट्रोल पर. तो फिर हमको जो कुछ कंपोनेंट्स है, जैसे कि कैपेसिटर, वी नीड टू एक्सप्लेन द रोल ऑफ कैपेसिटेंस ऑल्सो. तो ये मेरा कैपेसिटेंस है. यहाँ पर मैं क्या करने वाला हूँ, मैं इसका नाम, सॉरी ये मेरा काम का नहीं है, इसको मैं हटाऊंगा. आई नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड द चार्ज रोल ऑफ कैपेसिटर. कैपेसिटर वाला कहाँ है? एनीवे मुझे अभी फिलहाल दिखाई नहीं दे रहा है, तो उसको मैं फिलहाल छोड़ता हूँ. मैं एक आपको मैनुअल कंट्रोलर दिखाता हूँ, दैट यू विल. देखिए अब यहाँ पर क्या हो रहा है, देयर आर टू टाइप्स ऑफ सप्लाई. वन इज ए डीसी सप्लाई, 9 वोल्ट की एक बैटरी लगी हुई है, एंड अदर वन इज एन एसी सप्लाई. ये पावर सप्लाई है जो हेवी लोड को उठाती है, दिस इज एसी सप्लाई. एंड वी कैन, हाउ कैन वी एडजस्ट द ग्लोइंग ऑफ दिस बल्ब. सो मैंने सिमुलेशन स्टार्ट किया. व्हेन सिमुलेशन इज स्टार्टिंग, दिस डाउन बल्ब, bottom bulb is glowing. Now there is a button, this button is called push button. When I am pushing the button, what happening, the top bulb is glowing. When I am releasing the push button, again the bottom bulb is glowing. Top, bottom, top, bottom, top, bottom. So I am controlling it by the help of this push button indirectly, and the main control is this block. And what is this block? This is called a relay. ये कहलाती है रिले, जो कि एसी पावर को डीसी पावर से रेगुलेट करती है. देखिए, दिस इज द डीसी पावर, and DC power is regulating the AC power through a relay. For example, in the refrigerator, I gave you an example in the beginning. Refrigerator, what it is doing? It is tripping. When the temperature is increasing, the refrigerator automatically gets started. So that is done by the help of relay. There are relays attached in the refrigerator. You might have observed, जैसे ही refrigerator चालू होता है तो टिक ऐसे आवाज आता है. That is basically the sound of the relay. तो यहाँ मैं रिले का बच्चों को रिस्पॉन्स सिखाया. इस सिंपल से सिमुलेशन के जरिए से बच्चा आसानी से इन कंपोनेंट्स को उठाएगा और समझ पाएगा कि व्हाट आर द बेसिक रोल्स ऑफ दिस कंपोनेंट्स. ओके, तो ये मेरे कुछ मैनुअल कंट्रोल है. मैं एक कंट्रोल आपको और दिखाना चाहता हूँ मैनुअल कंट्रोल में ही, बिकॉज वी आर रनिंग आउट ऑफ द टाइम एंड आई वांट टू स्पेयर सर्टेन टाइम फॉर डिस्कशन ऑल्सो. सो वन मोर, ओके, दिस वन. यह कहलाता है 7 segment display. So it is called a 7 segment display because you can see a digit 8 is written here. How many segments are here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are 7 segments. Okay. Now let's simulate. So here there are buttons on either side. Just let's randomly change the position of the state of the button. मैंने ये बटन ऑन किया तो ऐसा ये जल उठा. ये ऑन किया, अभी 4 बन गया. ये ऑन किया, 9 बन गया. ये ऑफ किया, एक मीनिंगलेस डिजिट बन गया. इसको स्टेट चेंज किया, मीनिंगलेस अगेन. इसका स्टेट चेंज किया, 6 बन गया. So what we are seeing is that there are 7 LEDs. Okay, there are 7 LEDs powered by this battery, and to govern the state of any LED to either on or off, we are supplied with these buttons. How many buttons? 8 buttons, 7 segments and 8 buttons. So what is the role of the last button? That is for this point. ये पॉइंट के लिए आखिरी बटन है। ओके, सो मैनुअली आप इस तरह से इसका जो रोल है, जो काम है, वो समझ सकते हैं। दिस इज द मैनुअल। तो जैसा कि मैं बोल रहा हूँ कि सबसे पहले मैनुअल समझाना पड़ेगा, विदाउट एनी प्रोग्रामिंग, बगैर प्रोग्रामिंग के सिंपल कंपोनेंट से बच्चा स्टार्ट करेगा। उसके बाद जब वो समझ पाएगा कि मैनुअल कंट्रोल कैसे होता है, देन वी विल अंडरस्टैंड द रोल ऑफ कंट्रोल। कंट्रोल जरूरी है, वो पहले समझना जरूरी है। कंट्रोल कैसे करना है हम नहीं बता रहे हैं, कंट्रोल हो कैसे रहा है, थ्रू स्विचेस। मैं जनरली आपको स्विचेस का रोल बता रहा हूँ। फिर मैं आपको एक आखिरी मैनुअल कंट्रोलर बता दूं, फिर मैं प्रोग्रामिंग वाले पार्ट पर जाऊंगा। जैसा कि एक और भी यहाँ पर था, कौन सा था, एक मोटर ड्राइव में करना चाह रहा था, मोटर, ओके दिस इज, ये आ गया ना, नोट दिस वन। देखिए ये भी एक प्रकार का कंट्रोल है, बट दिस इज ए लिटिल एडवांस कंट्रोल। व्हाट वी आर सीइंग हियर, देयर आर टू पावर सप्लाईज, देयर इज ए मोटर एंड देयर आर two buttons, okay, two push buttons, and this is an IC LN2938. This is called H bridge IC. So what is H bridge IC? That we can be explored later. First of all, let's start. So what we are seeing is that our motor is in the idle condition, not running. So let randomly choose any button. मैंने left button को choose किया, you can see, थोड़ा बड़ा कर दूं मैंने लेफ्ट बटन को चूज किया, यू कैन सी दैट द मोटर इज रोटेटिंग इन द एंटी क्लॉकवाइज डायरेक्शन। प्लेस बटन किया, मोटर रुक गई। अब मैंने राइट बटन को चूज किया, अब क्या हो रहा है, मोटर इज रनिंग इन द ऑपोजिट डायरेक्शन। नाउ द मोटर इज रनिंग इन द क्लॉकवाइज डायरेक्शन। सो दिस वे, switching the buttons, we can change the direction of the motor, forward, reverse, forward, reverse। तो फॉरवर्ड रिवर्स हम कैसे कर पाए, हम कर पा रहे हैं बाय द हेल्प ऑफ दिस बटन्स। बच्चे भी रिमोट कंट्रोल की गाड़ी में ऐसा ही काम करते हैं, गाड़ी को आगे पीछे लाते हैं, मोड़ते हैं। सो दिस इज पॉसिबल बाय द हेल्प ऑफ सच टाइप्स ऑफ कंट्रोल्स। ओके, अब जो मैंने, और अच्छा फिर बच्चों को बताना चाहिए कंसेप्ट ऑफ certain basic concepts. There are two basic concepts. Most fundamental is the Ohm's law. This is the most fundamental and very important concept. ऐसा नहीं है कि ये सिर्फ छोटी क्लास में काम आता है, इवन हायर टेक्नोलॉजीज में भी ओम्स लॉ का एक बहुत बड़ा रिक्वायरमेंट है। कई सारी प्रॉब्लम की ट्रबल शूटिंग सिर्फ एक ओम्स लॉ की मदद से ही हो जाती है, सिर्फ एक सिंगल लॉ। ओके, दूसरा आता है, देयर आर टू मैकेनिज्म, वन इज वोल्टेज डिवीजन मैकेनिज्म एंड अदर वन इज करंट डिवीजन मैकेनिज्म। तो मैं करंट डिवीजन मैकेनिज्म क्या है, ऐसा आपको बच्चों को बताना पड़ेगा, सीक्वेंस बता रहा हूं मैं आपको। तो ये मैंने एक बनाया था सिंपल सा एक प्रोग्राम, जिसमें कि करंट डिवीजन कैसे होता है। सो यू कैन सी दिस इज अ बैटरी एंड हियर आर 3 रेजिस्टेंस एंड these 3 रेजिस्टेंस आर कनेक्टेड इन पैरेलल। नाउ दिस वैल्यू ऑफ दिस रेजिस्टेंस, this is of 1000 ohm, you can see here, or 1 kilo ohm. The value of this resistance is 100 ohm. The value of the third resistance is 10 ohm. So the ratio is 10 10 10. Okay, and these are connected in parallel. तीनों resistance आपस में parallel में connected है। I want to understand that what is the amount of current flowing through these 3 resistances. So to measure the current, I attach here 3 ammeters. It is in fact a multimeter through which you can measure current, voltage and resistance. I have chosen the mode of emitter. देखिए इस तरह से आएगा ये। अब आपको क्या यूज करना है, you can choose either amperage or current, voltage or resistance. So I am choosing current. Now let's start the simulation. देखिए अब सिमुलेशन में क्या दिख रहा है आपको, कि जो रेजिस्टेंस 1000 ओम का था, वहां पर फ्लोइंग करंट इज 7.72 मिली एम्पियर। The resistance which was 100 ohm, the current is 77.2 milliampere, and the resistance, the third one, which is of 10 ohm, the current flowing is 772 milliampere. So what conclusion can you draw from this presentation? Higher is the resistance, lower is the current. Lower is the resistance, higher is the current. Okay, so in this way, choosing the proper value of resistances, you can tap the required amount of current. आपके लोड में कितना करंट आना है वो आपको कंपोनेंट की डेटा शीट से मिलेगा। तो हमको ये भी सिखाना पड़ेगा कि डेटा शीट कैसे देखी जाती है। इसके जरिए से आपको पता लग पाएगा कि इस पर्टिकुलर कंपोनेंट में इतना करंट चाहिए। अब इस कंपोनेंट के करंट को कंट्रोल करने के लिए हमें करना क्या पड़ेगा? वी नीड टू कंट्रोल द रेजिस्टेंस वैल्यू। ओके, तो ये मैंने आपको सिंपल सा एक ये करंट डिवीजन बताया, वैसा ही एक वोल्टेज डिवीजन भी है, बट सिंस वी आर रनिंग आउट ऑफ द टाइम मैं उस पर नहीं जाऊंगा। अब जो बातें मैंने आपको मैनुअल बताई थी वही चीज मैं आपको बताऊंगा इलेक्ट्रॉन थ्रू प्रोग्रामिंग। तो प्रोग्रामिंग का मैं आपको बताऊं, जैसे कि मैं कौन सा प्रोग्राम निकालूं फिलहाल, जो मैंने अभी आपको, अच्छा ये ले लेते हैं दिस वन। अब यहाँ पर देखिए मैंने क्या किया है, जो 7 सेगमेंट डिस्प्ले मैंने आपको थोड़ी देर पहले दिखाया था, दिस इज द 7 सेगमेंट डिस्प्ले। अर्लियर देयर वर बटन्स हियर एंड हियर ऑन आइदर साइड्स ऑफ द 7 सेगमेंट डिस्प्ले there were 2 sets of buttons, and when we were operating the buttons, what was happening, the display was changing. Okay, now that I need to do automatically. So automatically here I am having a tiny board, this is called Arduino, and right now it is really a very hot cake among the students. So all those platforms which claims to teach students coding, this is the central thing. Arduino, it is not very expensive. Its cost is hardly 400 rupees, and there are various versions of this Arduino, and all these components can also be brought along this Arduino. So within an investment of 2 to 3,000 rupees, all the things which I have showed can be done by the student. Okay, so then I have did here certain coding. अब coding पर मैं आऊंगा। तो पहले प्रोग्रामिंग पहले हमने कंपोनेंट समझा, कंपोनेंट किस तरह काम करता है, फिर उसको प्रॉपर यूटिलाइज करने के लिए हमने थोड़ा साइंस की मदद ली। वी आर नाउ इंटीग्रेटेड द सब्जेक्ट। नाउ आई एम स्टार्टिंग द सिमुलेशन। सो सी ओवर द स्क्रीन व्हाट्स हैपनिंग। 2 3 4 5 the display is changing, 6 7 8 Now nobody is changing it. अभी आप देख रहे हैं कि there are no such switches, कोई स्विच नहीं है, सारा गिनती अपने आप चल रहा है। And why? That is because earlier I did a program, I made a program. ये मैंने एक सिंपल सा प्रोग्राम बनाया हुआ है। आपको देखने पर लगा अरे तो बड़ा सा कठिन प्रोग्राम लग रहा है, it is difficult, but believe me, it is not difficult. Anybody can learn it, not difficult thing. मैं बताऊंगा किस तरह काम करना है, इसके ऊपर भी मैं आऊंगा। फिलहाल तो मैं थोड़ा आपको मोटिवेट तो कर दूं कि किस तरह से ये बड़ी इंटरेस्टिंग फील्ड है, कहाँ इसका यूज है, वो मेरे पास समय थोड़ा कम है, मैं ज्यादा उस बारे में बता नहीं पाऊंगा। मैंने एक प्रोजेक्ट और बनाया हुआ है सीइंग द, तो क्या दिस इज माय रेक्टिफायर, ये भी मैंने बिना माइक्रो कंट्रोलर के बनाया था। व्हाट इज दिस रेक्टिफायर? जो आपका मोबाइल चार्जर होता है, दिस इज अ टाइप ऑफ मोबाइल चार्जर। लेट्स स्टार्ट द सिमुलेशन। सो दिस इज पावर सप्लाई, this is AC power supply, this is a bridge rectifier, this is a capacitor, this is the filter unit, and the waveform are observed in these 2 oscilloscope. Okay, so suppose you want to observe that what is the nature of the waveform which you are having from the main power supply. जो घरों में स्विच बोर्ड लगे होते हैं उसकी पावर सप्लाई किस तरह दिखती है, मतलब वोल्टेज वेरिएशन विद रिस्पेक्ट टू टाइम। तो इसके लिए मैंने क्या किया कि ये डायरेक्ट सप्लाई आई है, इस लोड को दी गई है, और ये लोड को मैंने जोड़ दिया है इस सीआरओ से। तो जो ये आपको वेव फॉर्म दिख रहा है, ये किसका वेव फॉर्म है? ये वेव फॉर्म है इनपुट वेव फॉर्म। दिस इज द इनपुट वेव फॉर्म, एंड द वेव फॉर्म विच यू आर सीइंग इन दिस ऑसिलोस्कोप, दिस इज द आउटपुट वेव फॉर्म फ्रॉम दिस रेक्टिफायर। ये 4 डायोड जो लगाए हुए हैं, ये रेक्टिफायर का आउटपुट इस टर्मिनल और इस टर्मिनल के जरिए से हमको मिल रहा है, जो कनेक्टेड है इस वाले ब्रेडबोर्ड से, सॉरी ऑसिलोस्कोप से। हियर यू कैन सी इन द इनपुट वेवफॉर्म देयर वाज पॉजिटिव पल्स एंड देयर वाज नेगेटिव पल्स, बट इन द आउटपुट वेवफॉर्म देयर इज ओनली पॉजिटिव पल्स एंड नो नेगेटिव पल्स। ओके, सो आवर करंट और द वोल्टेज इज नाउ unidirectional, but still not constant. There are fluctuations. So we need to remove the fluctuations. Why? Because still there are ripples, still there are fluctuations. So we need to filter the AC components. So my capacitor, this is my filter. Now let's use the push button. You see the push, you see the when I am pushing the push button, what is happening? In this part, there was a line was forming. ये जो fluctuations थे ये गायब हो गए. The peak was smooth. See again here, क्योंकि मैं अपना कर्सर नहीं दिखा पाऊंगा. What you are observing in the left hand side oscilloscope, you are seeing a horizontal line. So what is this horizontal line showing? This horizontal line is showing a constant value of voltage. So this unit is giving us the rectifier, that is the only the positive pulses, and this unit is giving us the smooth voltage, constant voltage. So our mobile chargers are basically running on the simple concept. In our mobile chargers also there are two components. This is the main power supply. Okay. This is the rectifier. This is the filter. These are the basic, and there are voltage regulators also. You can choose from here, but I am not choosing since we are running out of the time. एक और मैं आपको बता दूं. अच्छा, एक लास्ट चीज मैं आपको बता रहा हूँ, फिर मैं थोड़ा कोडिंग पर अगर if you let, because we are already led, so it is up to you only that if you can permit time or I can stop, no problem with that. मैं आपको ये दिखा देता हूँ. देखिए ये जब कोविड चला था तो देयर वाज अ लॉट ऑफ फियर ऑफ infection. When we used to take note currency from the shopkeeper, then we were of the fear that whether the currency is infected or it is good currency, or whether the mask which we are having is infected or not, the paper, the file which we are using, whether it is infected or not. So there are machines which will sanitize the currency, which will sanitize the mask, because it is not a practical solution to use soap for cleaning the currency. You can't clean your papers by soap solution. Then there comes UV or ultraviolet sanitizer. Which ultraviolet light has got a far a wide brand of spectrum. There are basically three components of it: A, B, and C. And the most lethal components of the UV light is the C component. And fortunately, thanks to our ionosphere and the upper layer of the atmosphere, that this radiation is not coming not coming to the surface of the earth. So otherwise UVC is very dangerous, and the viruses and bacteria, they can't survive against the UV radiation. So here we have made a machine using this programming, this microcontroller. Here I have used a bulb, but in my actual prototype there is not bulb, there is a UV lamp. Okay, and these are the indicators whether my machine is running or not. So what I am supposed to do is that there will be a box, and the currency or whatever stuff which I need to sanitize, I will keep those stuff in that box lined with aluminum foiling so that there will be reflection. And here, there will be a UV lamp, UVC lamp. Okay. Now I am starting the simulation. You can see the green light is glowing. Green light suggests that the process is not started. Okay. The bulb is off, but we will not be able to see the bulb because this is in the box. We can't see it. UVC radiation is very, very dangerous. So we are even avoiding the touch also. So the switch which I am using is an LDR switch. What is this LDR switch? We need just to bring our hand in front of the switch, not even of any requirement of physical contact. तो मैं इसके पास गया, मैंने इसको थोड़ा सा हाथ लगा के घुमा दिया. अब देखिए क्या हुआ. ये मेरा UV बल्ब जल चुका है. Green bulb is off, red bulb is glowing, and this red LED is outside the box. So this indicator is showing me that now operation is under process. जैसा operation theater में होता ना वैसा ही. Operation is in the process, and I have set the time for 1 minute. Means for 1 minute time duration, the UV lamp will be operated, and the viruses, bacteria, they might be destroyed by the impact of this UVC radiation. So let's wait for a few seconds. When 1 minute is over, then what will happen? This bulb will stop glowing. Just few seconds. It will stop glowing. Okay. So after 1 minute, what happened? The bulb automatically switch off. The red LED indicating that operation is over. Green LED indicating now it is safe to remove the lid and take out the stuff. So here also we have programmed it. I have written a code and this is my code. Looks complicated, but believe me, this is not a difficult task. Anybody can learn it. Okay, following proper instructions and sequences. So now I was telling about the code. तो कोड में जैसा कि मैंने आपसे बोला है कि दो चार चीजें खास चीजें हैं वो हमें समझ में आना चाहिए. वो आपने यदि समझ लिया, then you can write any type of program. बस मैं just last 5 minutes, please kindly spare me 5 minutes only, and my work is over.
Sure, sir.
Okay. अदरवाइज दिखाने के लिए तो काफी सारी चीजें हैं, बट एक चीज में थोड़ा सा मिस एक छोटा सा एक चीज था मुझे दिखाई नहीं. ओके, ये देखिए दिस इज द लास्ट थिंग. देखिए अगेन दिस माइक्रो कंट्रोलर, ऑर्डिनो, oscilloscope. Let's simulate. What happened? It is not working. So if it is not working, I have to check the code. Then text loop 13. Okay, the pin number is wrong. I need to change it to 11. I need to change it to 11 as well. Now let's see what happened. Okay, so what you are seeing is that a pulse is shown, but you can't see the complete pulse. So let's change the setting to 100. I change it to 10. Now what happening? 10 is also large. Change it to 5. We are just changing the scale. It is not working. I am just changing the scale to see the complete waveform. Otherwise, I will do another type of variation. Let's see microsecond if it is working. Okay. So anyway, leave it because it will take certain time. I need to do certain changes in the setting. So another thing that I wanted to tell you is that first of all, what we did, identification of basic components. First part. Second part, use of the basic components. Third part, control. Control first is the manual control. Then comes the control through microcontroller. Now coding will come here. But before that, first of all, we need to understand the architecture of this microcontroller. And what is the architecture? The various sorts of pins which are given here. So these are the various pins. These are the output and input pins. We need to first of all understand these pins. And there are two sets of pins here and at the bottom side also. Here you can give the power supply, and these are the analog pins. These are the analog pins. These are digital pin. So first of all, the student should be learned when we are doing the coding part, the architecture of this microcontroller. Okay. Now, after understanding the microcontroller, then we need to do programming. So for programming part, let's remove this our oscilloscope, use an LED. This is the simplest program. Cathode, we are connecting to the ground, and anode, we are connecting to the pin number 11. Now let's start our simulation. What is happening? You can see the LED is blinking. On, off, on, off, on, off. So who is switching on and off again and again? This is the program or the code which we wrote. So now let's move to the code. So this is the code part. This is my code, but this code is written in text. So in the beginning part, there is a very beautiful visual based, block based programming language called is Scratch. This Scratch was developed by MIT, America, and it is available free of cost. You can explore this Scratch through MIT platform. And here I will use the block part for the small children, block plus text. Okay. So this is my simple program made by the blocks. This was the actual program which I did with text, and this is the program for the beginners. This is for the beginners, okay? And this is done by the help of these blocks. So what the student is supposed to do? He or she is supposed to just pick these blocks and place it here and connect them in proper sequence. After certain trial and error, the student will himself or herself understand that what is the function of these blocks. And for our further assistance, the complete programming can be understood by the help of these 6 buttons. This type of program. किसी भी प्रोग्रामिंग में बेसिक ये बातें होती हैं, कुछ और भी हैं, मैं आपको बताऊंगा इसके अलावा. One is the input and the output. First of all, whatever programming we want to do, first of all, we need to do input. Certain variables, certain informations we have to give to the machine. For example, अभी मैंने आपको एक प्रोग्राम बताया था मुहूर्त वाला. So it was asking me the name of the city. तो ये था इनपुट. मैंने इनपुट दिया भोपाल, लाइक दैट वे. तो एक हमको चाहिए इनपुट. इनपुट का मतलब समझ में आ गया. तो इनपुट कैसे करते हैं वो आपको बेसिक सीखना पड़ेगा. देयर आर वेरियस प्लेटफॉर्म्स. देन कम्स द आउटपुट. आउटपुट कैसे लेना है ये हमको सीखना पड़ेगा. देन कम्स variable. So what is the variables? The meaning of variable in mathematics, we know that unknown quantity we are we are denoting it by the help of variables. And here in the part of programming, the variables mean that this is a memory location. And assigning the value of memory location to that number, that is called variable. For example, मैंने एक variable choose किया R. So R क्या है? R is the radius. So when I am choosing this R as a variable, then I have to specify to the computer that what is R. Computer को नहीं पता R क्या है. मुझे पता है कि R is the radius, but computer don't know. So I have to tell the computer this R is an integer. R is a floating point integer. What is R? That I have to tell. And when that information is given to the computer, then that sort of information will be registered in the memory location. जैसे कि लाइब्रेरी के अंदर शेल्फ होती हैं. In the shelf, in the end of the day, the person who is working in the library, what he or she is used to do, he will just collect all the books and he will place the books in the respective shelf. Why? How? By the help of those numbers. Those numbers are basically the memory locations. Similarly, अगली जो चीज आती है बच्चों को सिखाने वाली, इनपुट हो गया, आउटपुट हो गया, कैसे लेना है. Then comes the variable, then comes the constant. There are certain constant values are not changing. वो भी इसके जैसा है कुछ. Then comes the function. Function का थोड़ा हमें ज्ञान देना पड़ेगा बच्चे को. What is the meaning of function? देखिए, function समझने के लिए if we take the analogy of our own body, for example, heart. What is the function of the heart? The function of the heart is to pump the blood. What is the function of the lungs? The function of the lungs is to breathe and supply oxygen to the each and every cell of the body through circulation of the blood. What is the function of the kidney? Kidney is the filter to filter out the toxic and drain it out. Okay, so these are the functions of the body. Similarly, in programming also there are various functions. For example, I need to do multiply 2 into 3. So 2 into 3 करने के लिए I will be choosing a function called multiplication, cross. Okay, so that cross is the function. So what its role will be? Its role will be to add 3 2 times. If I am doing 3 into 2, it will add 3 2 times. So it will give us 6. And there are 2 types of functions. One is the function which are available in the library. कई सारे फंक्शन ऐसे हैं उस प्रोग्रामिंग लैंग्वेज की लाइब्रेरी में आपको अवेलेबल होंगे. You have to choose the particular library and you are free to use those functions. And second is you have to generate functions yourself. कुछ फंक्शन जो लाइब्रेरी में उपलब्ध नहीं है, if they are not available, then you have to generate it ourselves. So this thing is need to be learned. ओके, जो मैंने आपको अभी कंप्यूटर प्रोग्रामिंग में वॉल्यूम निकाल के बताया था, देयर आई हैव जनरेटेड द फंक्शन. And next is the control. This is very important part of programming. So there are basically three types of control, four types of control in fact. One is if. If मतलब क्या कि यदि ऐसी ऐसी कंडीशन होगी तो ऐसा होगा, नहीं तो फिर वैसा होगा. If else. If else का मैं सिंपल सा आपको एग्जांपल दूं. In my childhood I saw a movie called Sholay. So in that Sholay there was a villain called Gabbar Singh, and he held the heroes and the heroine in his captivity, and both the heroes were tied by the locks of the foot. And what he told to the heroine कि बसंती जब तक तुम्हारे पैर चलेंगे तब तक इन दोनों की सांसें चलेगी. So what Gabbar Singh was doing, he was controlling. And what was the condition? कि जब तक तुम्हारे पैर चलेंगे, if this is the if condition, तब तक दोनों की सांसें चलेंगी. They will keep on, they will be alive. Else, अगर ऐसा नहीं हुआ, else they will be shoot dead. So this is the condition called if else. This is a very important control loop. And second is the for loop. So for loop is basically, for example, there is a long queue in a shop, and only the first 100 people who come earlier will be allowed to enter. So the person who is standing in the gate, he or she is supposed to count the number of people, and counting will start from the first person till 100th person. And as soon as the 100th person come, then what will happen? The further people will not be allowed. So this is the for loop. So since the time was very, very less, and within this short interval of time, it was I just tried my best that whatever things which I could share with you. Thank you very much for your patience and hearing, and I am ready for the questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your wonderful session. It was really wonderful to know so many new things from you. It was helpful us for making our classroom learning constructive. With the help of so many softwares, how can we make our classroom constructive in our pedagogical practices? That was the great learning from today's session. We could know about so many softwares. So thank you so much. I open this session for question answers. If the participants, they have some questions to ask, sir, they can on their mic and please ask your question.
Good morning, sir. Yes.
जी, good morning. नमस्कार साहब.
This is very wonderful session.
जी, thank you जी.
Yes. My question is that regarding the coding.
Yes sir.
मेरा बच्चा है अभी 9th क्लास में पढ़ रहा है और ये अभी ट्रायल भी दिया था कोडिंग क्लास के लिए
जी.
जब व्हाइट हेड और चांद के ऊपर, तो क्या 9th क्लास के बच्चे को अभी से कोडिंग सिखाना उचित रहेगा?
Sir, this is a very good question. Most of the people used to think that whether it is the right or appropriate age to start coding. So
Yes.
as far as the researchers are there, and as far as my own observation is there, earlier the better. Earlier the better. Means if the student is picking it earlier, then there are two benefits. The first thing is that the flexibility of the mind, the focusing of the mind in these early ages will help a lot in learning the things. And second thing is that in the early age when the student is exposed to coding, suppose, then it would be easier for the student or from the part of the teachers and the parents also, that what is the attitude and aptitude of students towards, whether the student has got proper aptitude to pursue it further. Nowadays what we are seeing is that our engineering colleges are flooded with the students, and most of them, they just by peer pressure or by family pressure, they came to the technical education. They lack the basic attitude and aptitude. So in either way, this is beneficial. So I strongly support that there is no problem with this class. Even you can start from 6th also. No problem with that.
थैंक यू सर। इस सेशन को स्पेशली मैं हरियाणा झज्जर से हूँ और स्पेशली मैंने बच्चे को भी साथ में लिया है। ये पूरा
जी
सेशन
सर।
बच्चे ने अटेंड किया है।
जी।
उसमें थोड़ा उसका इंटरेस्ट था इस कोडिंग में, तो इसलिए इस शानदार सेशन के लिए आपको बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया।
जी सर, इसके अलावा जैसे आपने बच्चे का जिक्र किया है, तो मैं एक प्लेटफॉर्म के बारे में आपको और बता दूं कि स्क्रैच मैंने बताया था, स्क्रैच आप फ्री डाउनलोड कर सकते हैं। इसके अलावा कई सारे ऑनलाइन प्लेटफॉर्म्स हैं जिस पर आप ये सारी प्रोग्रामिंग सीख सकते हैं, चाहे पाइथन की हो चाहे किसी की भी हो, बगैर IDE डेवलप डाउनलोड किए भी आप कर सकते हैं। एक REPL.in में इसमें नाम लिख दूंगा, ये एक ऑनलाइन है जिसमें आपको डाउनलोड नहीं करना पड़ेगा, आप मोबाइल पर भी ये काम कर पाएंगे। और तीसरा, जैसे एक ऐड आता है टीवी में कि अरे ये बच्चा तो छोटी सी उम्र में भी ऐप बना रहा है इस छोटी सी एज में, so that is also possible by the help of another platform, that is MIT App Inventor. MIT App Inventor is using gen of Scratch technology, Scratch programming blocks.
Okay,
MIT App Inventor. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Is there any other question? Participants, please.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
जी
Yes.
Sir, good morning.
जी
This is a
नमस्कार।
nice session. This is a nice session. I want to know, sir, हमने जो कोडिंग बना दिया तो उसको हम जो डिवाइस में कैसे इनपुट करें?
Okay. So your question is that we have coded now how to upload the program to the device. So sir, the platform which I was using, that was the Tinkercad. Now the proper platform is Arduino IDE. Let me show you. I will show you on my screen. You just see the cursor. This is the IDE, Arduino. Okay, you can download it, and here you have to attach your device through a USB cable with the CPU of the computer or the laptop. Okay, so there will be option for uploading, and when you have chosen, when we have used that option, the program will be automatically uploaded in your device, and you can easily take the device away from the computer if you wish, and you can use it, that thing.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Any other more people if they are want to ask? Okay, sir. Thank you so much for
hello.
your
Yeah.
wonderful session.
Hello, ma'am. Sorry to interrupt you, ma'am. In chat box, there is one question. From where we can learn this free coding?
Free coding?
Yes.
Free coding?
Yes.
Sir, as I told you that in the beginning itself, there are 4 segments. One is the input output, then there comes the functions, then comes the control loop, for loop, while loop, do while loop, if else. So these are the basic things. So you can choose any platform. For example, you are choosing the platform for Python or whatever. There is a website called Programiz, Programmiz. I will write. Okay, not only
Yes,
Programiz, there are many. There are many. Programmiz. Okay, sorry, Prog. That is G. Programiz. So when you Google it will ask you the options that what sort of programming you want to learn, C or C++ or Python, whatever. After choosing that proper option, then it will automatically display you all the various components of the program. So I suggest that from the beginning you start and sequence one by one, step by step. You will keep on learning and then keep on practicing, because as far as programming is concerned, as far as vocational education is concerned, this is a very important lesson which I learned in the vocational education, is that vocational education requires rigorous practice. And so is the case with the coding, because you need to practice it more and more and more. And what happens in the beginning, the students are very much attracted towards this fascinating thing, they get started with the program, but later the learning curve, it start flattening and it start descending also. So the ascent of the learning curve, maintaining that steepness is a must. And to do so, we need to do in a proper algorithm. Like I showed a simple program of blinking of LED. ठीक है, वो आप वहां पर दिख जाएगा प्रोग्रामिंग्स वगैरह में भी, उसमें आप छोटा 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 वेरिएशन करते रहिए, तो वो जो आपकी बेसिक चीज है वो आपको बार बार याद होती रहेगी. जैसे कि इन एजुकेशन वी आर यूजिंग प्रोग्राम्ड लर्निंग मटेरियल, PLM. In PLM what we are doing, number of loops with little variations in each cycle. Similarly you can use this programming also. So program is a REPL.I. Here's our platform. ये बेसिक 4-5 चीज सीख लीजिए बस, एंड प्रैक्टिस.
थैंक यू सर.
थैंक यू
सर. मुझे तो लगता है कि ये पूरा 1 साल का प्रोग्राम होना चाहिए, तभी हम ये पूरा आपसे लर्न कर पाएंगे.
ना ना ना, I frankly speaking this is I am presenting you a half baked cake. The cake is not fully prepared. And I should appreciate you in fact that you are accepted this half baked cake.
To Priya ma'am.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Mr. Kendra Singh Chauhan, sir. Really, I agree that there are so many things to learn from you, and the time was very short. Yeah, it was a very interesting session to know so many new things and the new softwares which many people are not knowing about. Thank you so much, sir. I hope there is no other question. If at all there is any one question, please raise your hands or please open the on the mic and ask. Okay, sir. We end the session here, and we will be back in 10 minutes for the next session by Dr. Pawan Agrawal, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you, participants. Thank you, everyone.
So I also, from my own behalf, I express my sincere thanks to the principal and the organizers of this program, successful program, what I feel till now, which I observed, and the coordinator, Mr. Dr. Asit Purohit Saab, my friend also. So yesterday I could not attend the sessions, but in the future I will attend all the sessions, and all the sessions I expect that they would be very much useful to all, including me. So thank you very much for your patience hearing, and thank you for giving me an opportunity to present a little bit what I know. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much on behalf of our Dr. H.R. Gajwani College of Education, the Management Trust, and the Principal Ma'am. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.